Welcome everyone to town meeting 2026. I'm calling this meeting to order in O'Rise's absence. Normally our moderator would call the meeting to order, but I'm told that I'm allowed to do it. So I'm calling the meeting to order. For folks who are just coming in, I still see some more seating in the balcony, and there's definitely more seating down front and some of the rows kind of toward the middle. Voting's happening behind me on the stage. You get to it through this door by Dave Gross in the red jacket. There's a lift there to bring you up to level of the stage if needed. What else? I guess that's it. So the legal voters of the town of Hardwick, Vermont are hereby notified and warned to meet at the Hardwick Townhouse in said town of Hardwick on Tuesday, March 3rd, 2026 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon to act on the following business. Polls for Australian ballot voting will be open from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. And again, voting's happening just behind me here. So Article 1 is to elect a moderator to govern said town meeting for the year ensuing. Do we have any nominations for a moderator? Yes, sir. Please stand and state your name.
My name is Walker Wright, and I would like to nominate Audrey Grant for town moderator.
We have one nomination for Audrey Grant. Do we have any other nominations? We don't need a second on a nomination. All in favor of nominating Audrey Grant to be our town moderator for the coming year, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, then we've elected Audrey, so I'm going to turn the meeting over to her. Yeah.
Woo! Whoa, whoa.
Can you turn that off? No.
It's all right. Okay. I have a loud voice, so I'll start this way if that works for everybody. So, welcome everybody. I have the honor of being our town moderator today. Thank you for electing me. Hearing no objections, I would like to start with a legislative update from our representative, Michael Southward from Walden. Hearing no objections, we will turn it over to Representative Michael Southward.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here. Just kind of give you an update on what's going on or not going on in Montpelier. Total number of bills that have been submitted so far, 902. Of those, very few will actually make it to law. That better? So it's a cost of $1,000 of bills, so maybe 200 will make it as law or even be looked at. So you're talking a $700,000 waste of money. There's been a lot of talk about how we can change that and use that money that we're using for bills that don't mean anything to go towards something else that does mean something. That remains to be seen whether we can actually do that. There's a lot of people that do not like that idea. There's bills that have gone through for data privacy, cell tower, large-scale solar, renewable energy project siting, judicial-related topics, healthcare, and state budget adjustments. One of the biggest bills that is being worked on and looked at is Act 181, which is land use. If you're not familiar with that, I suggest you look it up on the legislative website. It's going to dictate how you can use your land. It breaks the state down into tiers. Tier 3 is mainly what we would be looking at. There are some different tiers, like the village setting is a different tier, but you're going to look at how you can use your land, when you can use your land, and how it's dictated by the state. There's a lot of push from a lot of different people to support different parts of the bill. It's all about land conservation, which we all know we agree with. but how it's done is how we don't agree with it. There's a act from 2023, Act 59, which the 30 by 30 and 50 by 50 rule comes into play, which means 30% of the state lands will be conserved by 2030, 50% by 2050. If we use current use land or use valuation assessment land, we've already met that goal. We're trying to get that land to be used toward the conservation goals, but that is being fought and fought heavily. The chair of the committee does not want to see that happen, but it only makes sense because UVA land is conserved land, it's actively managed, and it meets the goals of the conservation goals. So I urge you to look at that, to really understand it.
Sorry.
Any questions, just reach out to me. I can try to lead you through the process to look it up, but we are a bunch of people down there that are trying to make sense and trying to do something that doesn't restrict how you can use your own land in this state. Education, we all know that is one of the biggest topics. Nothing has been settled, nothing is done. It's only just started again, and every day is something different. There's a different idea, there's different bills that come in to address it. The only saving grace is crossover date is the 13th, which means then we can actually start working on the bills that have come out of the House and Senate, and then we can actually try to make some headway on it. Many different schools of thought. It's not going to be an easy process, as we all know. Trying to protect what's best for the students is number one. But we also have to be cognizant of how it's paid for. And I'm not sure that we have come up with a process yet that is good to support and finance education in the state. There's a lot of different schools of thought. There's people that want to take everything away from property tax and have it funded in a different mechanism, which may not be bad, but what is that mechanism? Nobody's really come up with that yet. So stay tuned, watch it, throw emails to the education committee if you see something you don't like. Throw emails to me. I can put that through to the people that are members of that committee. But it's not going to be an easy task, and it may not meet what everybody wants to see. So Hardwick Elementary went through the PCB remediation project. You folks took a bond out on it. I've been actually in contact with DEC on that quite frequently. I've asked them about payment. I've pushed them to give me some sort of an answer. And the latest that I received from them was they have 6 schools that are receiving funding at this point from FY26. If there is monies left over after those 6 schools have been made whole, then they will at least make a partial payment to Hardwick. They'll know more this spring. So we know that they're looking at paying you. It's just a question whether they're going to be able to pay some of it this year or next FY when the other monies are released from the state budget. So stay tuned for that, and I will put updates as I know more as well. Energy, large-scale renewable projects. I know town of Hardwick has a large-scale solar field. There's been some change in what can be done there, which means the House has passed a bill which allows another section of that land to be used for another large-scale solar project. Large-scale solar, depending on how it is done and designed, if the developer is involved, if it is under net metering or if it's under standard offer, it can drive up electric rates. I'm not sure how Hardwick's is designed, but it's something to pay attention to because every time we go into a large-scale solar with either net metering or standard offer, we are looking at pressures upward on rates for people. There are ways that we're trying to curtail that. We're looking at different ways of net metering. We're trying to find a balance which still allows people that have solar to benefit from that because they did put that investment in, but we're also looking at ways to make it so that it's more equitable for everyone to take part in that. And one of those ways to look at it is also community solar programs. That remains to be seen where we go with that as well. Cell tower siting. There's bills that we've done in committee that are directly related to siting. We have heard testimony from other towns on what they have been put up against when it comes to fighting the siting of the towers, where it's going. I would suggest that if your town plan or your zoning do not directly address siting of cell towers and large-scale energy infrastructure, you look at that and try to rewrite it so that it actually addresses it. Other towns are facing tens of thousands of dollars in legal costs because of the way it is done now. If they don't have something in their zoning or town plan that directly relates to it, it is going to end up where the town or abutting landowners do not have a direct voice into that process. So if it means something to you to have that voice, please make sure your town plan and or your zoning directly address those two topics. We're looking at data centers. Data centers have yet to hit the statement. Well, they're here, but they're very small. But if the large scale come in, it's going to create a situation where they absorb a huge amount of electricity, which can in turn create rate increases for us. We're looking at putting guardrails up around data centers in every way because it's not just electricity, but it's also water usage and environmental. So we're trying to put some guardrails up so that they do not take advantage of us. So that's pretty much it. Open for questions at this point.
If anyone has a question, please raise your hand and I can call on you. Yeah. Yes, please.
Yes. Can you explain why large-scale solar projects increase costs?
It depends on how they are designed. If there's a net metering project or a standard offer project, those rates that are paid by the utilities for that electricity are very high. They're higher than what the utility can buy on a spot market or the wholesale market. So that in turn drives the cost up for ratepayers.
There.
Your email, please, Mike.
M Southworth 2024 at M Southworth 2024 at gmail.com.
Are there other questions for the legislator? Yes, there in the back.
Is it important to keep the government safe in our state of Vermont?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is it good to keep the government safe in our state of Vermont?
Can you clarify what you
Is it
mean?
good to keep our
Is it good to keep the government
our
safe
government safe in our state of
in the
Vermont?
state of Vermont? Is it good to keep the government safe in the state of Vermont?
Yes.
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
Well, it's good to because I know I've been voting a lot because we try to vote our government to keep things safe, like presidents or people to keep things safe.
So maybe you're asking the legislator what their opinions are on keeping our government safe.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I think we all need to be kept safe, and we depend on our law enforcement to do that for us.
Are there any other questions for the legislator? All right, seeing none. Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe we should not use your.
No, it's this one this time. Everything's turned too high. It's all good. So sorry. It was that one this time. I'm going to defer to Brent on this. All right. Everyone needs to talk now. We're going to go, at this point, we're going to go down the line and have the head table and our town employees introduce themselves. We have some town employees who are non-town represented, or who are non-town voters, residents. And so hearing no objection, we will let everyone introduce themselves, including non-town residents. Great. Start with you, Eric. Nice and loud.
Hi, I'm Eric Remick.
David Upson, Town Manager.
Haley Galley-Kane, Select Board.
Katie Hale.
Tim Riccadello.
Sherry Cornish.
Tanya
Chase. Amanda Fecto. Casey Rowell.
Mike Henry.
Tom Fadden.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. I want to go over a couple of ground rules and just cover our bases ahead of town meeting day. So, for town meeting day, we will use Robert's Rules as the basic order for this meeting. All questions and remarks should be addressed to myself as moderator and not to a neighbor. If you're making a motion or seconding, please state your name and please wait until the microphone gets to you to start speaking. Articles must be moved and seconded before being restated by the moderator before debate can begin. For previous articles to be reconsidered, the request must be made before the moderator restates the next article, after a motion and a second. This requires the request to reconsider be from a person who voted on the winning side, and I will ask you how you voted, and your neighbors will also know how you voted. Articles may have one amendment, and the amendment can be amended once. The voting to proceed from the last proposed amendment back to the main motion, and we can do this as any number of times. And eventually, we will vote on the amended main motion if any of the amendments are passed. A paper ballot can also be requested if 7 people agree for the paper ballot. Debate can be stopped with a motion to call the question. That requires a 2/3 vote. However, the person making the motion must first be recognized by the moderator and not just hollered from the floor. So, if someone is speaking and you want to call the vote, stand and I will recognize you, and then you can make the motion to call the question. The role of the moderator is to explain procedural questions, but no voter should hesitate to ask a question. If you have a question, say point of order, and that proceeds and stops discussion, and I will ask what your question is. Again, voters need to stand when recognized, and please wait for the microphone to say your name. And please state if you are a Hardwick voter. If you're not a Hardwick voter, we have to suspend Robert's Rules to allow you to speak, although again, we encourage anyone who's interested to raise their hand. A voter will not be recognized to speak a second time on the same motion or amendment until all other voters have had a chance to speak for the first time. If your cell phone rings, please take it out in the lobby. If I cannot decide the outcome of a voice vote, a division can be requested, and we'll either do a raised hand or standing, or 7 voters can request a paper ballot. Thank you all for coming today, for supporting me as moderator. There's folks outside with some cookies and goodies for everybody. And there's also town meeting bingo hosted by the Civic, including some prizes. So I really encourage folks to play along. All right. Are there any questions before we get started? All right. We will now move on to Article 2. Shall the town accept the town report ending June 30th, 2025? What is your pleasure?
So moved.
Please. Oh, sorry. Before we begin, would anyone like to be our microphone runner? Brent? Great. Brent is our microphone runner. Thank you, Brent. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, we won't suspend rules for you. Can I please run to the back? Sorry, gonna make you do the whole thing. Yes. Yes, please.
I move that we accept the.
Can you please say your name?
Oh, sorry. I'm Robin Grant, member of Hardwick, voting member. I move that we accept the town plan as presented.
Town report as accepted. Is there a second? Please raise your hand. Yes. Please rise and say your name. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Thank you, Brent. Are there any questions, comments, concerns in regard to the town report? There are also copies up here if anyone would like to peruse. Oh, yes, up there. Just say your name. I will say, the nice thing about the townhouse is as long as anyone is very loud, we will be able to hear you. So if I can please have you say your name and then ask your question.
Yeah, my name is Ann Galloway. I'm asking if the select board is going to do a short presentation on the report or summary to the assembly.
There is a question if the select board will give a short summary on the town report. Select board?
We will, when we get to Article 5, the budget, I'll start us off on the budget discussion. Opie's going to give us a general town update.
All right. Are there any other questions regarding to accepting the town report? All right. Seeing none. All those in favor of accepting the town report year ending June 30th, 2025, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have accepted the town report. Now on to Article 3. Article 3, to elect all town officers and school district number 26 directors as required by public laws of Vermont and to the town charter. Just to clarify, Select Board and Union District number 26 directors will be voted on by Australian ballot, again, behind us on the stage. First, we will start with our first constable, which is a one-year term. Is there a motion to nominate someone for first constable? All right, there is a nomination for Lindsay Osteen for first constable. Nominations do not require seconds. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of nominating Lindsay Osteen as first constable, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. And you have elected Lindsay Osteen as first constable. We will now move on to second constable, which is currently held by Lindsay Osteen. Is there a nomination for second constable?
Dennis Chase, I nominate Charlie Bartlett as second constable.
There's a nomination for Charlie Bartlett for second constable. Are there any other nominations? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of all those in favor of Charlie Bartlett for second constable, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. And Charlie Bartlett is our second constable. Thank you. We will now move on to town agent. Is there a nomination for town agent? Oh, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Nomination for town agent. This is a one-year term. Are there any nominations for town agent?
I nominate David Shepard.
There's Opie nominates David Shepard for town agent. Again, nominations do not require a second. Hearing no other nominations, all those in favor of David Shepard for town agent, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and David Shepard is our town agent. We will now move on to the surveyor of wood, bark, and lumber for a one-year term. Is there a nomination for surveyor of wood, bark, and lumber?
Ben Notterman. I nominate Levi Chase.
We have Levi Chase for surveyor of wood, bark, and lumber for a one-year term. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, we will move forward. All those in favor of nominating Levi Chase for Surveyor of Wood, Bark, and Lumber for a one-year term, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and Levi Chase is our new Surveyor of Wood, Bark, and Lumber. We will now move on to Tree Warden, which is a one-year term. Is there a nomination for Tree Warden? Oh, sorry, up in the back. What is your name? Michael Deering. Your name is Michael Deering? Yes, and you're nominating yourself as? Awesome, thank you. All right, are there any other nominations for Tree Warden?
I'd like to nominate Jeffrey Fairs.
Okay. Sorry, I'm writing this down. And then Michael Deering. All right. Are there any other nominations for Tree Warden? Make sure I get the. All right. Do I just do them one at a time? I just do them one at a time? Great. All right. All those in favor of nominating Michael Deering for Tree Warden, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. Okay. All right. I'm going to ask for a hand vote. So at this,
Point of order, you keep calling votes by saying you just nominated, but by the time we're voting, we're not nominating, we're voting. So that last sentence of the word should say all those in favor of so-and-so, and then we're voting, but it ends in nominating, and all we've done is a long time to nominate.
Understood. I appreciate it, and I will clarify that going forward. All right. At this point, I would like to do a hand vote for Tree Warden. So folks will signify by raising their hands when I ask. Sure. Okay. Hearing no objection, we're going to do a hand vote where I will read a candidate's name and folks will raise their hands in the affirmative. And then I will read the second candidate's name, and if you guys want to vote for the second candidate, you will raise your hand. Does that make sense? But only vote for one, please. Thank you. All right. All those in favor of Michael Deering for Tree Warden, please signify by raising your hand. All right, you may lower your hands. All those in favor of Jeffrey Fairs as Tree Warden, please raise your hand. You may lower your hand. And Jeffrey Fairs is our Tree Warden. Sorry, thank you. All right, we will now move on to Cemetery Trustees. This is a one-year term, and it is currently the Select Board. The Cemetery Trustees manage Main Street, Maple Street, Fairview, Sanborn, Hardwick Street, West Hill, and Hardwick Center. Is there a nomination for Cemetery Trustees? Yes. Please say your name. Sorry. Awesome. There's a nomination for the Select Board for Cemetery Trustees. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor of the Select Board being elected as Cemetery Trustees, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and the Select Board is now our Cemetery Trustees. We will now move on to Fire Department officers, which can be voted as one block. This is in your town report on page 4. Just to clarify, we will nominate all of the officers we will vote on all of the officers as a block except for Lamoille County Sheriff. Is there a motion for nominating the slate? Dennis Chase, thank you. Are there any other nominations? Are there any questions? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of electing the fire department officers as a slate, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have elected new fire department officers. We will now move on to one library trustee for a 3-year term. Again, I believe this is also on page 4. Are there any nominations? Oh, I see. Sorry, thank you. Yes, please.
Daphne Kalmar, I nominate Beth McIntyre.
There is a nomination for Beth McIntyre for library trustee for a 3-year term. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor of electing Beth McIntyre as library trustee for a 3-year term, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and Beth McIntyre is our library trustee for a 3-year term. We will now move on to one library trustee for 1 year remaining on a 3-year term. Please, yes.
Daphne Kalmar, I nominate Milo Tandy.
Miles Tandy? Milo Tandy, sorry, thank you. All right, there's a nomination for Milo Tandy. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor of electing Milo Tandy as library trustee for 1 year remaining on a 3-year term, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and Milo Tandy is elected to the library trustees. We will now move on to grand juror for 1-year term. Are there any nominations for grand juror? It is currently held by Raymond Bellavance. Yes.
Dennis Chase, I nominate Eric Remick.
There's a nomination for Eric Remick. Are there any other nominations? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of electing Eric Remick as a grand juror for 1-year term, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay.
Thank you.
The ayes have it, and you have elected Eric Remick as grand juror. Yes, I saw. Before we proceed to Article 4, unless there's any objections, I would like to allow our Senator Scott Beck to present his legislative report. Are there, hearing no objections, we will let him, yes.
Question. The nominees have to accept their nomination before we vote for it?
I don't believe so.
All right.
And I will say also, if anyone even knows what a grand juror does, like, they would be my first pick, but. All right, hearing no objections, we will have Senator Scott Beck have the floor. Yeah, Brent's on it.
I'll be very brief. You have a lot of important business to do. I have never spoken in quite a venue like this. This is just really amazing. First, I wanted to say, other than thank you for letting me speak, I probably receive more email, comments, suggestions, ideas from the people of Hardwick than any of my other towns. And I really, really, really appreciate that. It's probably no surprise to any of you that the best ideas do not come from that white rectangular box in Montpelier. And so I really do appreciate all the ideas and suggestions that are coming in. Please keep sending them. My report is really brief. I think there's, housing. We're working hard on that. We've got 2 programs for the state to support and 2 programs to get the cost down. That's a huge thing. If you can't find affordable housing, it's tough to live in Vermont. And just the cost of living in general, taxes, education taxes. I know, based on the email from this community, that there is a lot of angst about redistricting and what the future of education and education funding in the state of Vermont might look like. And all I can say right now is I'm glad you're engaged. I don't think the big ideas, the real ideas that may come to fruition are even out of the barn yet. So far, it just seems like it's an anti-supervisory union, which you are part of a supervisory union here, and an anti-public tuition, and you do have districts in your SU that are public tuition. So we're trying to tamp all that down, and we can get to the meat of it, which is basically we have 52 superintendent's offices in the state of Vermont, and is that the right number of superintendent's offices, and how does that play out, and how does it impact kids' lives and communities that are very intertwined with the education that their kids receive. So more on that, I think, as the session evolves. I'm sending my stuff out regularly on Front Porch Forum and as much as I can in the Hardwick Gazette, so please read those, and if you have any questions, just give me a call or shoot me an email at any time. But thank you so much.
Yes, there's a hand. Do you, sorry, Senator Beck, do you have a moment for any questions?
I didn't know that was allowed.
Oh, absolutely. Are there any questions for the senator? Yes, please. And please, again, say your name.
Harold McCoy from Hardwick. What's your take on Act 181 and Tier 2? Tier 1 is, I don't have a problem with that, but Tier 2 and 3, I can say I have a problem. So
yeah, I have a problem with Tier 2 and Tier 3. I think it really puts the clamps on the ability of development in areas that are Tier 2 and Tier 3, and we have a lot of Tier 2 and Tier 3 around here. Specifically the road rule, which if you have a driveway that's more than 800 feet, you're going to get put into Act 250. And I don't think anybody that just has a home, just trying to live, wants to get thrown into Act 250. So we're trying to make some changes to Act 181. Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay. Great. Thank you.
All right. All right. At this time, we will move to Article 4. Shall the town have its current taxes collected by the town treasurer? What is your pleasure? Thank you, Paul. There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Other Paul. Thank you. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? All right, hearing none. Shall the town have its current taxes collected by the town treasurer? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have approved Article 4. We will now move on to Article 5. Shall the town vote a budget of $4,741,600 to meet the expenses and liabilities of the town and authorize the select board to set a new tax rate sufficient to provide the same? What is your pleasure? Yes.
As the board cannot verify that every hand in here is a registered voter, I make a motion that this goes to an Australian ballot vote.
We would at this point do a paper ballot. There is a motion. Am I understanding you correctly? You would like to move to a paper ballot, not Australian ballot?
Paper ballot.
Paper ballot. So there is a motion to move the town budget to paper ballot. In order to move towards a paper ballot, there needs to be at least 6 people seconding. Do you have 6 seconds?
6 seconds.
Please. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Great. So we do need a motion. Yes. We do need a motion for the article. Is there a motion? So moved. Karen Collins. All right. Is there a second? For the, okay. At this point, you made a motion to vote via paper ballot, and we had 7 seconds. Yeah, okay. At this point, there is just a discussion. Do we need to vote on the paper first? Yes. I just want to take a moment to clarify the process to make sure that this is done fairly. So if everyone can take a minute while I confer. Thank you.
Are you calling for the vote now without discussion? Or do you want to?
We can discuss it. But it should go to a paper vote.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. All right, I'm going to have you make the motion again, and please again state your name before you make your motion. Yes, please.
Reno Demers, and I'm asking that the vote for the town budget go to a paper vote.
All right. For the seconds, I'm going to need everybody to raise their hand, and then one at a time, please say your name. All right? Do we have some seconds?
Point of order.
Yes.
Ivan Menard, I think we have to accept the first motion, right, which is the first accept the budget. That would be seconded. And then we would,
yes.
Excuse me, but then we would move on to, if Reno wants to amend the motion and go to it, but there has to be a discussion before we just go straight to a paper ballot vote.
Absolutely. So the vote for paper ballot is the current article being discussed. I did do a motion and a second for the budget to then go back to this point for the motion for paper ballot. Because this is a current motion, we will vote on this particular issue, even though we will still vote at the end after the discussion. We will go back to the main motion of discussing the budget. Can I clarify? Yes.
Carol McCoy, I think that what we're trying to accomplish here is we have a motion on the floor to approve this budget currently. So we can't have another motion to vote by paper ballot. We have a motion on the floor. We need to discuss the budget. When we get ready to call the question, I don't believe it needs a motion. We only need to indicate that 7 people would like to vote by paper ballot. So, and in fact, and that obviously is the case. So let's have a discussion, and at the end of the discussion, let's vote by paper ballot. We've already decided that's what we want to do. We can't have 2 motions on the floor at once. And that's what you're headed toward. So does that fix the problem? Okay.
We also don't need to vote for a paper ballot. We already have 7 people that have seconded it, so it goes to paper ballot.
Yes.
There's no vote.
Yeah.
It goes to paper ballot.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Okay.
We're a little ahead of the game.
Sorry.
So restate the question and ask for...
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to restate the question for Article 5, and then we will have a discussion about the specific question. When I call the question, when I therefore ask you guys, are you ready to vote? That is when we will then, folks in the audience can make the motion to vote by paper ballot. We have already technically done that, so I understand the hesitancy and the procedural aspect. We will keep this in mind for future articles, and I appreciate everyone's patience on this. So for right now, I'm going to restate the question. Shall the town vote on a budget of $4,741,600 to meet the expenses and liabilities of the town and authorize the select board to set a new tax rate sufficient to provide the same? I believe there was already a motion and a second, and so now is our time for discussion. At first, I'm going to... All right.
Who seconded that question?
Let's start over.
second for discussion.
All right. I heard Ivan for second for discussion. At this point, I'm going to allow Opie and Eric Remick to present the budget.
All right. So first of all, we got, we're getting through this. Thank you, Audrey. This is our first time as moderator. I'm seeing a lot of frowns and long faces out there, okay? It's March and the sun is out. So let's turn it around. So good morning. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of the budget question, I'd like to take a moment and publicly thank Danny Hale and Eric Remick for their time on the select board. Danny has served on this board since 2011 with a few short breaks. Has shown up twice a month to select board meetings. And Eric since 2012. Okay? Thank you for your service. I'd also like to thank Larry Hamill. Is Larry Hamill in the room? He's probably in Arkansas. Larry was our constable, our town service officer, and our animal control officer. He also built, rehabbed 2 big buildings in the center of Hardwick. He's headed out of state. We wish him well, and I thank him for his service. While I'm on the thank yous, I'd like to thank any Arts volunteers for helping to prepare the building and grounds for the town meeting today. Members of the organization stepped up without asking shortly after the announcement that town meeting would be held here and helped with logistics as best they could. So thank you, NEK Arts Board. I'm going to keep going with the thank you, so bear with me. I'd like to thank the Public Works crew for all the work they do to keep the roads open, the water on, and the wastewater moving downhill. The police officers that keep us safe, the linemen, and the office staff at Hardwick Electric for keeping the lights on in the foul weather. The library staff for keeping our Enlightenment Center open and functioning. And all the volunteers that it takes to keep all the committees and commissions marching forward in the mission of Hardwick. And last but not least, I'd like to thank the entire town staff, everybody in the big granite building at the end of the road, for keeping the offices open and government functioning on the daily.
Yeah!
I am impressed every day with the level of professionalism and dedication our staff shows. And furthermore, as a Hardwick resident, I am very thankful for the community of people I live and work with. You all surely have the best interests in Hardwick and you're on your minds, so thank you everyone. I've got one more short inspirational message to share with you this morning, and then we can move on. Hardwick has always been built by individuals who show up, to serve, to volunteer, to mentor, to help neighbors, to sit on boards, to attend meetings like this one. We already have what makes the small town resilient. People who care, skills and experience, creativity, and a shared sense of responsibility. That's abundance. Town meeting is part of that tradition. It's a place where we ask questions, share ideas, and work through differences respectfully. We don't always agree. This morning, we don't have to. What matters is we engage with the intention of moving forward together. Progress in a small town comes from participation. I struggle with that word. So as we begin this morning, let's continue doing what Hardwick already does well. Thoughtful dialogue, shared responsibility, and a commitment to this place we call home. With that, I'll turn it over to Eric Remick to begin the discussion on the details of the budget. Thank you.
Oh boy, to follow that with the budget, which is just not. Here we are. I hope you folks brought your town report with you. If you did not, there are no more copies on the piano. But look on with your neighbor, I guess. So I would like everyone to please turn to page 11 in your town report. It's the first page with the budget. As always, the select board had meetings starting in November, running through January, preparing the budget, hashing it over. The town staff, especially Casey, worked really hard on this. And the basic idea with putting together the budget is to keep the town functioning, keep all the town services moving forward, and to look forward and anticipate any necessary projects. So first, I'd like to, before we actually dive in, up in the top third of the projected revenues, there's a line for local option tax, and it's a projected revenue of $50,000. That's not technically part of the budget that we're voting on. The budget we're voting on is the $4,741,600, and the local option tax is actually the next article on this agenda, so we're going to discuss that next. So I would draw your attention now to the budget summary at the bottom of the page, and note that I'm just going to walk through these briefly. The highway department, the police department are both projected to have about a 4 to 5% increase. This is mainly driven by increases in salaries, benefit costs, insurance costs, that sort of thing. Honestly, just barely outpacing inflation, which was 3% when we were building this budget. The next is the administration on office. That's down a little bit. That decrease of $46,940 reflects the net of an increase in salaries to employees, and we're taking away the position that was never filled of Director of Public Works that we voted on, or we encouraged in last year's budget. Next is the payroll. Oh, and I should say about that Director of Public Works that we decided not to fill that position. Instead, there's an additional line item for hiring contractors, basically as needed, to fill in for project management type roles. Next is the payroll and elected and appointed. That's nearly flat, and that's a small amount. Fire department is up a little bit. Looks like it's 21% increase, which sounds like a lot, but it's actually a pretty small dollar amount at $10,000. And this reflects a little bit of an increase for our fire volunteers, and most of that is actually just to continue to maintain equipment to be up to standard. Next is line items. This is where we see a big increase, 21%, and that's quite a lot of money, and we'll flip to that next. Buildings also increases only at 4%. So again, next, draw your attention to the line items page, which is page 17. So I'm just going to call out a couple places. I'm sorry because I'm going to jump through, but I'm from kind of going down the list, but jumping. So the third one down is professional and project services. So we've increased that by $25,000 in order to allow for hiring of project management or engineering consultants as needed for projects that come up, and this is in lieu of hiring a full-time staff person as a new Director of Public Works. Moving down a bit, we have a new line in here for Springfest, which we're proposing that the town support to the tune of $10,000. Last year, the total Springfest cost was quite a bit in excess of $10,000, so we're anticipating that will be matched by private contributions. Scrolling down a little more to the Capital General Fund, you'll see there that we're proposing an increase to that fund of $107,000. That is mostly a set aside to allow us to have the money on hand to match the FEMA dollars that we're anticipating for some major projects as we continue to rebuild after the floods of 23 and 24. So the FEMA, we are fortunate in that FEMA is paying 90% of a lot of our all of our major projects, and the state is also contributing another 5%. So we're really just paying for 5% of those projects. They're expensive projects. Bridges are the ones that are coming up in the coming year or two, and the idea here is, all right, thank you to our fire department. The idea with increasing this by $100,000 is to allow us to make our contribution, our 5% contribution, to get these major infrastructure projects done. Next, I'm going to take us down to, there's a highway garage bond payment of $150,000. This is new. There are some schematics or design, like preliminary conceptual designs up on the wall in the back of this room. I hope people have seen that. We've had some meetings about it, but the basic gist here is that our town highway garage has reached the end of its useful life. As such, we have contracted with VIA Architecture to help us design a new facility for the town highway department, and in combination with that, also rehouse our fire department up here on Creamery Road and our Hardwick Rescue Squad, which is an independent organization, but they are going to be co-located essentially next door to where they are now. That's the grand plan. We have not had a bond vote on this. You may all know that you have not voted on a bond for this, but in order to keep the project moving forward, we're anticipating being able to prepare a bond vote by late spring, early summer of this year. And so knowing that we're marching in that direction, we wanted to add a bond payment. This $150,000 would be enough to cover interest-only payments for the first year, because the bond, we're anticipating a cost just for the highway garage portion of this project of something in the neighborhood of $6 million. We are looking actively for grant funds to help decrease the amount of that to be borne by the taxpayers, but that's a process that we're still in the middle of. All right. Those are the major things I wanted to call your attention to. So basically, just to summarize again, we're trying to continue with the services that we currently provide, and our big drivers for increases are our match for the FEMA funds for major projects and a bond payment in anticipation that a bond vote passes. I guess the other thing I would say about that money we're setting aside for bond payment is if the bond vote doesn't pass, or in some other way this project is thwarted, the current town highway garage, if we were going to continue to use it, would need at least that much money in repair in the near term. So that's very likely where that money would go in the event that the project didn't move forward for some reason. All right, so with that, hopefully I wasn't too long-winded, and let's have questions, discussion, comments. Yeah, okay, got it. Who wants? I bored everyone into submission. You're all asleep. Come on. Paul Fix.
I'll start. I noticed there's a reduction in the capital highway fund of, I think, $60,000, and an increase in the capital general fund of $100,000.
Yep.
Could you speak to what's changed there?
Yeah, so the capital highway fund that had a decrease, that's a fund basically where we save for paving projects, and our biggest paving project that ever comes up is paving Center Road, which we did last year, and it ended up costing us less than we had projected, so we thought it was prudent that we could decrease the amount going into that fund. It then gradually ratchets back up over the years. So that's the reason for that. And sorry, second part?
The general fund went up $107,000.
Right, so that is the reason that that's in that fund is because that's the FEMA match for upcoming projects. mostly those are bridges, and I'm not going to be able to name them. I'm going to need help. There's the one that's up in the bend, but it's not really Greensboro, it's Hardwick.
Bridge 31.
Bridge 31. There's Cary Road and Fisher Folly, and then Tucker Brook. And Tucker, yeah. So those 4 bridges, they're all, bridges are big projects.
Hardwick Farms.
Oh, Hardwick Farms? Yeah, Hardwick Farms.
And then the slide in East Hardwick.
Oh, yeah. So then we also have the landslide along, is that School Street in East Hardwick? Yeah, and we have our...
Traffic lights in the center of town.
Yes. Right, so the retaining wall. Oh, the other thing I want to say about that increase of 100,000, though, because we anticipate, like, we're not going to be able to do, we don't have capacity to do all these projects in a year. So these are going to happen over the course of probably 3-ish years. So we're anticipating this increase of 100,000 to that part of the budget to remain there for about 3 years, and we're thinking that, you know, that's roughly what we're going to need to contribute ongoing for about 3 years to get these projects done. Thank you, Paul.
There in the back.
Hi, Mike DeMarco, Hardwick. I was expecting to see a big increase because of the reassessment, and am I missing it, or like a large increase in property taxes taken in because of the property tax reassessment? Am I missing something or misunderstanding?
Yeah, so that's a great question about the reassessment that happened last year. And just to clarify, they're kind of 2 separate things. So the budget that we're voting on is just the budget to run the town. It's not, we're not voting on how to raise the taxes to do that. When the tax rate is set, which usually happens in late July or August, then that's what sets the rate. And the rate is determined based on, basically, you take the total amount to be raised and you divide it by the grand list to get the rate. And so since the grand list in total went way up, the tax rate went down, but people's property values went up. So you're multiplying by a lower tax rate, but you end up with a number, I mean, that stays, you know, fairly even, but represents the increase in the budget. Does that make sense, or does that not make sense?
Doesn't make that much sense to me. I know my taxes went up a lot.
Yep.
And when and where will that be reflected then?
So, so it's not reflect, the tax rate and the tax bills that you receive are not reflected directly in this budget to run the town. This is just the projection of what we need, what we think we need to keep running the town. But the tax rate will be set next summer if on whatever budget is approved here today. There is, on page 9 of your town report, there is a projection of what the proposed budget, how that would impact property taxes.
Town versus school.
Oh yeah, and another thing to keep in mind, like when most of us, when we see a property tax bill, you look at it and there's a bill and there's a total and that's what you have to pay and you focus on that. It's good to keep in mind that that bill includes both the municipal tax, which is what we're, you know, concerned with here today, and the school tax, which is voted separately. I don't have the breakdown in front of me, but in general, in the last few years, it's been about 40% municipal tax, 60% school taxes that make up your total property tax bill. Does that help? All right. More questions and discussion?
Oh, yes. Nice and loud, John.
What's that?
Nice and loud.
Okay. The question I have is, there was a report in the Gazette from Kristen Leahy that FEMA is purchasing about 20 properties. Is that going to have an effect on our grand list and future revenues?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the question is, there are about 20 properties in town that were enrolled in the FEMA flood buyout program, and will that have an impact on our grand list and our tax revenues? So in the short run, what happens is the state has actually committed to making payments to the town to make up for the lost revenue for the next 10 years. So that gives us like a little bit of a runway to get used to not having those but after that, yeah, those properties are not on the grand list and they will not be providing tax revenue. On the positive side, a bunch of those properties, by having them not in the flood anymore, and the property owned by the town, we do have the ability and the plan to lower the elevation of parts of those properties, so there'll be more water storage for flood waters, and hopefully that will have a positive impact on any future flooding.
Questions? Yes.
Ann Galloway, I have two questions. One's related to John's, which is, does the town have plans to develop more housing to make up the difference over the next 10 years? That's question one. Question two is, do we have to replace the bridge in the Bend? And do we have to replace the Fisher's Folly Bridge? Couldn't they continue to use the temporary bridge?
Great question. So one, what are the town's plans to develop housing, I think? And then two, do all the bridges necessarily need to be replaced? And you called out especially the one in the Bend and the Fisher's Folly. So first, for housing, I would say that we do not have plans for the town to actually develop housing. And I do think that there are some ways that we can encourage housing, but we don't. At least currently, we haven't made a plan for the town to like be a developer or actively be involved in development of housing. We do have we have changed zoning bylaws to encourage more infill development, but there are probably some things that the town could do moving forward that might encourage more housing. Yes.
We will partner with developers when developers come forward through the CHIP program. And here, you want to switch? So we're eager to get housing projects underway. We just have to make it work financially for developers, for landowners, and for the town. But there is programs that they're standing up at the state level to help us do that. So our goal, the Regional Planning Commission set our housing goals. We have to, by 2030, I think we have to have like 230 new housing units. So that's a pretty steep goal, but we're moving towards that. But the burden can't just be on local government to provide housing. And then as far as the question goes about the bridge in Greensboro Bend, we have a public assistance project obligated for engineering and architecture for the bridge, and we are moving forward with that. We just sent out a survey, which we have the results. I think there's going to be a Gazette article next week on the results of the survey of the bridge. There was an overwhelming, response that we should put the bridge back. We will have the money in place from FEMA. There will be a match, a 5% match. So the rough estimates of the cost of that bridge are about $2.5 million. And so we need to keep moving forward until that final decision needs to be made where we want to make the repairs and put the new structures in. I don't know if does that answer your question, Ann?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, is it possible to have bond votes
I would say that we could, but they're not loans over a year, and they're in anticipation of grants. So I suppose we could do anything we wanted to do, but we don't have a plan to have a bond vote on that.
Because because we don't plan to actually have a bond to pay for these projects. So we wouldn't have a bond vote.
Are there other questions? Yes.
All right, I'm just wondering if the town has a plan in direction of properties available for development of housing. Do you anticipate any direction?
So the town doesn't own any property for housing, but private landowners owns property for housing that we would partner with them if they came forward. Some have, but nothing that's, that we're moving forward with. They're big projects, and they cost money, and they cost money for developers. And I think that the developers are making their money over in Chittenden County, and they're not ready to come to the kingdom yet. But that's
maybe some locals will.
Yeah, I'm willing. We're willing. The town's willing to work with developers.
Michael Deering?
Do we have a plan to get businesses in Hardwick? For all these grand plans that we need more housing, infrastructure. However, if we don't have the capacity, how will we get the businesses through here? We don't have the real estate, physical places for parking, for driving, for businesses. What are we doing to address that? We need businesses.
I agree with you. We put the Yellow Barn accelerator. We had two businesses move into there. Yeah, three businesses. Here, go ahead. You're the business guy.
Oh boy, yeah. I mean, we have tried to encourage business development. The downtown partnership tries to work with downtown businesses and landowners or property owners downtown to keep our downtown thriving. Yeah. I mean, the town isn't running a business, but we do try to be friendly, and we do help where we can. Oh yeah, we also, Kaylee makes a good point. The town also has an economic development loan fund where businesses in town can apply to get loan money at very reasonable rates. That's something we offer. Yeah.
Yes, please. Can you please say your name?
Hardwick has the second highest tax rate in the Northeast Kingdom. And my concern is the town doesn't use up all its bonding capacity for public services. We should be using our bonding capacity for infrastructure to make some of these housing projects happen, so we can actually get some more tax revenue before we commit to additional services to town. Our tax is up 30% this year. Our property tax is up 30%, which is fine, we can afford that. But the citizenry has limited capacity for taxation, so we have to be very careful about how we devote our precious bonding dollars now to build our tax base before we expand services.
Yes. Yes, thank you. It was not a question, but rather a statement from my understanding, just noting that the citizen was encouraging that the town not put its bonding capacity in infrastructure necessarily, but rather focus on its bonding capacity on housing development to help supplement our tax base to then be able to afford infrastructure projects. Please correct me if I'm wrong there. Yes. Okay.
You mentioned something a little while ago about by 2030, something's supposed to be done. The housing units are supposed to be there.
The Regional Planning Commission has set housing goals for us for each of the towns with zoning in the Northeast Kingdom. I think there's 7, and so there's a state plan to increase housing. So they've given us housing goals.
Well, my question was, is there an interest or penalty or something if we don't?
Not really. No.
It might be an aspirational goal.
Other questions relating to the budget? Yes. Yeah, please state your name.
Dave Gross, Hardwick voter.
chair of your Plan Commission. And on the housing issue, just to pick up, we've been working and just now finishing up our redoing our bylaws. And the key things were adding accessory dwellings, making it easier, removing the requirement that the property owner had to live in the big house. They couldn't live in the small accessory. We thought that was silly, so we removed that. We went through all of the zoning districts and reset the setbacks for property, which makes it easier to have accessory dwellings going in. We increased the size of that accessory dwelling, and also the minimum lot dimensions requirements for different districts. We've reduced those. So as was pointed out, the town doesn't own property, but for property owners, as far as the bylaws, we've gone through a couple-year process where we looked at, and we had a consultant help us, what can we do in our bylaws to encourage infill housing, especially for property owners, if they have a large house and they're not using all of it, to have some sort of change of use. And then also if they want to convert that garage or the back part of the house to accessory dwelling. So that's pretty much what the town can do to encourage it. But if you have any other ideas, we'd love to hear at the Plan Commission.
Other questions? Oh, yeah, sorry, Paul.
Thanks. Paul Fix again. We've heard the town doesn't have property for sale, but as I understand it, we've given an option to a group of people on a piece of property next to 9 South Main Street, the clip joint, which would be for short-term housing, not for long-term. That seems like it might be, you're shaking your head. So let's, at any rate, my understanding was that was going to be for hostels or something like that.
So I believe what you're referring to is the town actually does own a small parcel right next to Tracy's Clip Joint, and we did enter into an agreement with Vermont Huts, and their plan is to build a hostel there. Their primary audience for that would be folks coming through on the LVRT, but anyone could use it. Their conceptual designs include sort of a hostel-like bunk room type place on one floor, and then a couple long-term apartments on the top floor. So it would actually be both, and that's the plan there. They were awaiting environmental review after the unfortunate oil spill at 9 Main Street, and so that is just about concluded, and so hopefully that's moving forward.
Where are they going to park?
I think, yeah, that's a good question. Where are they going to park? I think the bicycles can park inside, and that's their target audience for most of the people.
Where's Tracy and them going to park?
Where Tracy and they could park, for example, over by the Daniels building and walk across the brand new bridge.
Are there other questions? Yes.
Julie here at Hardwick. You had mentioned the garage needing to be basically rebuilt and moving. I think you said moving fire station and Hardwick Rescue. And now since I've said Hardwick Rescue, I do have to pay bill, by the way. What will be done with the current fire building?
Great question. And so the current fire department building has been flooded many, many times, and most recently in the floods of 23 and 24. And so the options there really are to elevate that out of the flood, which would be pretty unfortunate for a couple reasons. One is it would have to be raised so much that there would be a kind of too steep incline for the trucks to easily get in and out, and all that mass of dirt used to raise the structure, which then you have to either lift it or rebuild it when you do that, and then all that mass of dirt is going to displace water that's then going to increase the flood level in the neighboring neighborhoods. So by moving the fire department up here, that building would be raised, and so it would displace less water there. And sorry, raised, removed, yeah, yep. It'd be gone, and there would hope the other right. Sorry, right.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Like RAZED. Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan there. I just to
More
follow.
parking. More parking.
More parking. Actually, yeah, there's parking down there, and parking is allowed to. It's one of the allowed uses in the areas that are flood prone because they're not always flooded. And just about the highway garage, since you brought that up, and also Patrick brought up the putting more money into infrastructure. It is so the town highway garage was built. Help me, 78, 72. 72. And it was a replacement for the Quonset hut that's also still standing on the site, which was the previous town garage. And the current town garage, the structure, for those who haven't been in, is a steel frame, and the steel posts come down and land on the concrete, or did, as they should. And it was built for essentially smaller trucks. So the bays are all defined by these rows of posts that go in between the bays. So as the trucks got wider over the years, the bays didn't get wider and they didn't get any deeper. So now when they drive in with one of the full-size trucks, which I think we have 3, they basically drive in till the plow touches the back wall of the building, and they have inches on either side as they squeak in, and they can't lower the wing plow. There isn't room because of all these posts and because the trucks are too close together. And then when all that's done, they close the door. It is a little bit of a shimmy to get behind the truck, like between the truck and the door, to like get past it. So it's really tight in there. Further, all those posts, well, maybe not all of them, but many of them, when you look at the bottom, they are so rusted from years of water and salt that, some of them aren't really touching, or they're just barely touching the floor now. So then, combine that with issues with the concrete wall in the back. We've had issues over the years with the roof leaking. I mean, it's a building that's now at the end of its useful life. And if we, I think the best use of our money is to build a new facility that'll last for the next 50 or 100 years. If we can't do that, or we can't do that in the near term, then we do need to put some money into the existing garage just to make sure it stays standing.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Avery. And I want to circle back around to that bridge, whatever it was in the bend. And I know you said you had a survey with overwhelming support. Did you say it was $2 million for that bridge? Yeah, and was it going to be a lot of grant money for that, or did it seem like it was going to be mostly just us paying for it?
So FEMA covers 90% and the state additional 5%.
Oh, because that's one of the things we have 5%.
Yeah, so then we are carrying 5% on that.
Okay. I guess to me, it seems like I have a friend that lives up on Standard Mountain Road. It seems like it's very redundancy already. We already have a bridge a quarter mile away, and we have another bridge that's maybe half a mile above that. And I know even if we're not paying a lot of money for it, it just seems like, because for me, it's hard to really justify spending that kind of money, whether it's state money or federal money or town money. And so I guess I'm just sort of opening up and wondering if people have good reasons on their minds why we should do that.
I will say that the surveys, most of the people that took the surveys were not from Hardwick. So it is a big question. It's a big question for me, and it is a huge amount of money for people that the majority of the people don't use the bridge. But we'll need some serious public engagement. I get phone calls every 6 months from the Greensboro Select Board. When are you going to fix the bridge? It increases traffic through the bend. They're concerned about the daycare there. So there's,
it's an issue, it's change, but I don't, yeah. It's, none of it's decided. There is a few people from Hardwick that rely on that bridge for their operations, which is important. And we will definitely take that into consideration. And once you have something, it's really hard to take it away. That's, I've found with the public.
I'd just say, just in follow-up for that bridge, one of the reasons it's so expensive, I mean, A, our money doesn't go as far anymore, but because we need to build that bridge so that it won't be impacted by future flooding, the span would actually be considerably longer than it was before.
Question?
I just wanted to say, in defense of the bridge,
Please, can you please state your name?
Neil, you're at Hardwick. If you're a parent coming from Hardwick and you're going to Four Seasons, it's annoying, and it would be convenient to have that.
I will restate the statement, I promise.
If you're a parent and you're sending your kids to Four Seasons, which a lot of parents in Hardwick do, like that bridge makes your mornings a lot easier, so you got to get there. So it is useful infrastructure for Hardwick.
Just to restate it, parent who has a child at the Four Seasons and just was advocating in favor of the bridge because it makes the morning commutes easier, which I feel like everyone can agree is an important thing. All right, any other questions? Yes, please.
I hope I don't confuse you all because I'm really good at that.
Great.
But we had representatives here my name is Lisa Cathcart. We had representatives here this morning talking about, was it Bill 189? 181, okay. Where possibly if things go through with that, if you have a driveway that's longer than so many feet, you end up in tax.
800 feet.
All right, but however many feet, you end up in Act 250. And then we're talking about future infrastructure in Hardwick and future housing and new bylaws. If the state passes that, will our bylaws, do we have to go with what the state does, or would our bylaws protect us from that law?
So I would say, with the help of Dave Gross, because he's on the Planning Commission, that our zoning administrator is very ahead of the game with what's out there for the laws that are coming in. So our bylaws are already up to date with a lot of that stuff.
So just to, I hope, clarify, my understanding of Act 181 is that this is all about future development. So if somebody wanted to do a development and they proposed a road longer than 800 feet and they were in a certain district, then that would trigger this Act 250 review.
Can I continue? It sounded like a lot of our property is in those the second and third tier districts that it would affect. So how is that going to affect our infrastructure and building new homes and making it affordable for people to even buy new homes in our town? Are we protecting ourselves from that, or is there no way?
I think the way to is to engage with our representatives who are here, because it's happening at the state level, and as Opie said, our town zoning administrator is staying on top of it in order to position the town to be in the best position we can be in when the legislation comes down. I think that there is an effort to encourage development within the village centers in town. Like the rules are much less stringent for Act 250 if you're in one of the village centers.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
I have a question and a comment. Eric, I believe you said that the repair to the town garage was going to be $150,000 or the $6 million?
I said the repair.
Excuse me, the bond money.
Yeah, so good clarification on that. So the proposed new highway garage with our conceptual plans and kind of a rough estimate is in the order of $6 million for a brand new highway garage that we would anticipate lasting 50 to 100 years. existing highway garage, if we need to get that in repair, I said we would use at least that 150. I mean, that would, yeah, at least, to keep it up.
Okay, and then the second is just a comment. You know, the whole bridge thing has plagued the town, obviously, for the last 3 years. And I know it's very easy to say it's FEMA covers 90 or 95% of it, but ultimately, all of us are still responsible for that. And I don't believe there's a road in Vermont that is straight and direct, and we could probably straighten them all out and save everybody some time. But that one in the bend just really seems like it might be something that's not necessary. And if it wasn't there, I don't think anybody would ever remember it. And also, nobody talked about the Hardwick Farms Road bridge, but replacing that will go on year number 3. And I seriously question that for the disruption. And right now, there is a very usable, serviceable, and functional bridge in place.
Are there any other questions?
Thanks, John.
Yes.
It's not a question on the budget, it's a procedural question on voting for the budget.
Yes.
I want to preface, the question is, why don't we vote the budget by Australian ballot rather than a town meeting? And I want to make a comment, is that I actually worry that if we did, we'd lose this conversation, which I really appreciate. But that's the question. Why don't we vote the town budget by Australian ballot?
I mean, as you stated, voting it from the floor allows this discussion. It allows people to ask questions, clarifications, to state their opinions. It just allows a much more engaged process.
And it limits how many people can vote.
It does. People would have to show up to vote at 10 o'clock.
So we do have a survey that I hope everybody will try to take. We want to ask the public about town meeting, where to hold it, when to hold it, and so people can access it. You know, offering daycare, having a meal. Like, there's a lot of questions in the survey, and we hope to get that information. We also we want to make town meeting as accessible for everybody as possible, so we can have this debate and clarification on things.
Other questions about the budget? Yes.
Just Karen Gates, Hardwick over. Just following up real quick on the time of day of the town meeting. So Brendan Buckley, there's some minutes in here from last year, stated that he'd like the select board to consider having town meeting not be in the middle of workday, so more people could attend. So that was mentioned last year. Just wondering where we were at with that. That's all.
Really quickly, I love the conversation. I love the discussion. This is not a germane comment. It is not relevant to the motion at hand relating to the budget. And I will also clarify that that was a discussion that was brought up at town meeting day, but was not necessarily discussed at length. And I think that's what the point of the survey is. Are there any other questions? Hold on. Yes, Emily.
This is more of a discussion point, but I just wanted to comment on the request to do this by Australian ballot, being on the basis of a doubt that everyone here is a registered voter. And I can't hear you. Okay. The concern I have is, such as was just brought up, moving this vote to Australian ballot means that many of the people who are now present would not be able to vote, would not be able to show up to vote by paper. So what I'm offering is, if the concern about voting here is that maybe everyone isn't a registered voter in Hardwick, I would just put out that the likelihood that there's people who are pretending to vote here who are not registered voters in Hardwick is pretty low. And I think that maybe it would serve the town to have a regular vote, and if it's an overwhelming majority that do approve it, to not do the paper process. I guess that's where I was taking up.
Thank you. Yep. Okay. Yes.
I'd like to call the vote.
All right, we have a motion to call the vote. Can you repeat what she said? Yes. There was a motion to call the vote. At this point, all debate stops, and we will move to voting. As we stated earlier, there was a motion and 6 seconds to do a paper ballot. This is the point at which, in future, motions to vote by paper would be made, just to clarify. So, I'm going to repeat the question, and then I will read a statement from Tanya about how this is going to work. Yes?
Don't we need to vote on calling the question?
Yeah. No. The question is called. Debate stops. All right, we're done talking about the budget, unfortunately. I'm going to repeat the article.
Yes. I think we do need to vote on the
Do
question.
we?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you. There was a motion to call the question. Do I need a second?
Sure. We can get one.
Sure. Do I have a second to call the question? All right. I'm seeing Larry Fliegelman for second for calling the question. All those in favor of calling the question and proceeding with a vote, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and we will move forward with voting. All right.
Order?
Yes.
Paul Fix again. My understanding is the vote could happen if there's a question about the vote. It could then be asked to vote by paper ballot with 7 people, regardless of how the vote came out. So to the earlier comment, if it's overwhelmingly in favor of the ballot, you might be able to skip being sure people were Hardwick residents. Just a suggestion.
Sure.
Maybe I misspoke. There could be a show of hands or a voice vote, after which someone could ask for a paper ballot with 7 people.
Yes.
So that could happen if overwhelmingly people were in favor. It's unlikely, looking around the room, that there are enough non-Hardwickians to change the vote. And so my suggestion would be to vote by show of hands or voice vote. And if someone's not happy with that, then a paper ballot can be requested.
That is great to keep in mind for future articles, because the motion for a paper ballot was already
In the wrong place. It really isn't valid, I would say.
Okay. I agree. I think we're going to do this correctly.
That's the second year.
Robin Leslie, I'm a JP. I've been on voting. I've helped with ballots, paper ballots. I think that there should be some clarification about how the process of a paper ballot works now, just so that the entire community is informed about what is going to happen if we go to a paper ballot. Everyone in this room will be asked to line up at the door where it says voting.
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
We have
go
this-
in front of,
Sorry.
okay. Nevertheless, we will be lining up and getting a piece of paper to vote yes or no, or however it is worded. And one by one, you will be going through the checklist in front of the town clerk and the other people who are sitting at the desk below the stage. And one by one, you will then vote, and then sit down, and then everything is counted, and then the announcement would be made. So it is a process. There are a lot of people here today.
Yes. Who? Yes, up there.
Yes, I believe that the original motion
I think therefore it should be disregarded until it is made at an appropriate time. If at all, I think the comment that 12:15 is absolutely correct, that the order of vote would be a voice vote followed by a hand poll, if that's called for, and then and only then could a motion properly be made for a
Can you say? Yes. A community member agreed that the point at which the voice vote was called was not the appropriate time, which as moderator, I agree, and that was my mistake. At which point there was discussion about voting for a voice vote, I believe. All right, okay. There was a call to question. We are moving forward with the vote. At this, yes. Yes, I need to read the next part of this and then someone can make a motion. So are you ready for the question? I'm going to repeat it and then someone can call for a motion, okay? So, shall the town vote a budget of $4,741,600 to meet the expenses and liabilities of the town and authorize the select board and set a new tax rate sufficient to provide the same? Yeah, someone please make a motion. Yes. All right. Okay, so we're gonna do sorry, no, I really appreciate this. I am still learning.
Okay, we have an option here. I believe the correct way to do this is we call the question, and if 7 people would like a paper ballot, we honor that by all voting by paper ballot. If there are nobody that wants, if there's only one person that wants a paper ballot, then we move on to vote with voice or by hand showing. But 7 people or more have indicated already numerous times that we would like to vote by paper ballot. So that's the way we need to proceed at this point.
Yes. So yes, I appreciate it. Thank you. I've read the question. We're now at the point of vote. There was a motion to vote by paper ballot. We need 6 seconds.
Do you have those, Nate? Do you have the, okay. Yeah. So.
All right. So in order to make a second on this motion, you will need to raise your hand and then state your name for the record. So we have Karen Collier as the motion. Great. We need 6 seconds. Okay. 1, 2.
Kevin Moore.
3. 4. 5. 6. Were all those names captured for the record? Awesome. All right. We will now move to a paper ballot.
Point of order.
Yes.
Here, please use this.
Peter Moskowitz.
Peter Moskowitz, Center Road. This is a statement that is published. While Robert's Rules of Order require a majority vote to request paper ballots, state law permits 7 voters to request one unless the town has adopted a higher threshold for paper ballots. The warning states that this meeting is run according to Robert's Rules. What level of Robert's Rules are in effect in this meeting?
All right. So I appreciate the question. I'm referring to Ruling the Unruly, the town moderator guide, which references Robert's Rules 12th edition from 2020. As far as I know, the town of Hardwick does not have any modifications to Robert's Rules. If they did, I wish they would have told me that first. I do appreciate the question, and we can discuss more about Robert's Rules and procedural order after our incredible lesson today. Thank you. So, at this point, I'm going to ask that we move forward with our paper ballots, and I will explain how this is going to work from Tanya, our lovely town clerk. All of the voters will go to the back of the room, and in a single file line down the left side, they will check in with Tanya. After their name is checked off the voter checklist, they will get a piece of paper. They will write yes or no and put it in the box. After the last vote goes through, Tanya will count the ballots and will let me know the results. This will be done for every paper ballot request going forward. All right, Tanya? All right, if I can have people nicely and calmly walk in a single file line to the left of the building to vote.
You're out of here.
Go to the back of the room.
I look at it as an opportunity.
Calling the meeting back to order. The polls have closed for our paper ballot, and I have the results. In the affirmative for Article 5, passing the town budget, 167 yes, 72 no, and 1 spoiled ballot. So you have passed the town budget. Just to clarify, please write legibly. Again, 1 spoiled ballot, but please write legibly. Thank you. All right. We will now move on to Article 6. We will move to Article 6. Shall the town approve a 1% local option tax on meals and alcoholic beverages pursuant to 24 VSA 138B2 and 2, rooms pursuant to 24 VSA 138B3, with the town's share of receipts to be used for municipal non-education expenditures as identified by the Select Board? What is your pleasure? We have a motion. Point of order? Yes.
Hello, Lydia Parker. I have a motion, and it probably needs to wait until after this one. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. Thank you. So there was a motion from Karen Collier. Is there a second? The motion was Article 6. To move Article 6, Larry Fliegelman seconded. Are there any comments or questions about Article 6? Yes, please.
Hey, Jim Danson. I was wondering, this 1% is for expenditures for municipalities, for the town and stuff, correct?
Yes.
Is this mic on? Yeah. So if you again turn to page 11 in your town report, you'll see that the planning is to take the projected revenue from the local option tax, if it's passed, and basically just use it to offset the amount to be raised by property tax.
I guess what I don't understand is that you don't figure in expenditures for the municipality in your budget, so you have to ask for a 1% tax?
Okay, so a little history on this. In Vermont, there has been the option for some municipalities to have a local option tax. I believe it was only the larger municipalities. Not always though, right? So they've opened, so the state has opened up to more municipalities the option to levy a local option tax. And what the local option tax is an additional 1% that's added to certain items, in this case, rooms, meals, and alcohol. And using the data that's available from the state of Vermont on current taxes, it looks like our estimate is that Hardwick, if we vote to approve this local option tax, we would see about $50,000 in revenue from this. We would just use the proposal is to just use that as revenue to offset property tax. And I think the rationale, at least for me, is that by having tax on rooms, meals, and alcohol, we are to some degree taxing ourselves every time we go out to eat or stay in Airbnb or order a drink when we're out. On the other hand, we're also, in addition to that, we're we're collecting that tax on tourists who come through in the summer, especially some in the winter. So it's just a little bit more revenue coming from tourists. It's not, basically it's just shifting $50,000 from the property tax to this local option tax.
Yes. Please state your name.
Karen Collier. Did I understand correctly that for every dollar that we collect, 75 cents of that goes to the state and the town only keeps 25 cents?
Other way around.
Reverse.
Other way around.
Yeah, reverse. So the
town keeps 75 cents and
75% of the 1%. Yeah. So, the state does all the, they provide all the administration for this. So retailers would just, instead of collecting, say, 9%, they would collect 10%. That all goes to the state. The state returns of that extra 1%, they return 3/4 of it to the town.
Other questions? Yes.
Let's go Hardwick. So you say that, thank you. You say that you want to use it to offset education, but that's not part of the, offset property tax, excuse me. But that's not part of the article. So what is the mechanism? It says the select board can decide what it will be used for. So what's the mechanism by which the select board decides how it is expended?
Well, the proposal and the budget that is intended to be followed is what's laid out in the town report, so it would just be used as revenue to offset taxes. I mean, I won't be there, but the select board could vote to direct that to some particular cause, but yeah.
Other questions? Yes. Which one? Ross Connolly.
Ross Connolly, I'm a Hardwick resident. This tax strikes me as a regressive tax. We are not a tourist town. You know, I welcome people that come to visit Hardwick, eat, drink, and stay here, but the fact is, not many people do compared to places like Stowe, Wakefield, the gold towns, even Greensboro. They have a large summer community. That's not in Hardwick. And we're going to be the ones paying this 1% tax. When we go to the diner, to Cork and Fork, you know, Positive Pie, wherever we go. And so it's kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And I just think it's a regressive tax that we should not approve. Thank you.
Thanks, I'm Rachel Payne. I wondered, when you've been talking about this, if anyone has talked to, or if there's people here today from like the House of Pizza and the Diner and the other restaurants in town that would have thought about this, presumably heard about it and thought about it, and if we could hear how they would view something like this. Thank you.
I was not contacted. My name's Mark Rowell. Second, go on. Owner of the corp.
Yeah.
There you go. He doesn't speak well in public. Thanks. Well, you don't.
Are there any other questions?
Did you hear that? I didn't hear the name.
Oh. Yes, Dr.
Am I correct that we're already paying 10%, Valerie Hudson?
We're already paying 10% tax on alcohol and 9% tax on meals and rooms currently. Is that correct?
I think you're correct.
Thank you. And so this would be 1% on top of those. Okay. And Lynn Delarichler just left. She was hoping that she would stay for this. She had to go to work, so she was here.
Are there any other questions? Yes, there.
I want to echo Ross
Ross's comments.
Please say your name.
Barry Set, our president. The eateries that we have here, I can't see where they would be in favor of it. And it might hurt our local businesses as more than what it little would help the town. So I want to echo Ross's comments on this being a regressive path.
Any other questions? Oh, sorry, yeah.
Thank you all for your comments. I wanted to just mention that from my perspective on the select board, part of the reason why we brought this up as an item for town meeting was to have a really big conversation about it. It was an opportunity that crossed our desk from the state. And so we looked at, there are really 3 different tiers that you can have, including sales tax, which we did not put as a voting item on here. So it's super helpful to hear all this perspective. Our goal was to do this, was to have a discussion about it and to see what Hardwick really felt about this new opportunity. If it doesn't happen this year, it could be an opportunity for other years. I will also mention that it's very easy to get rid of. So if it doesn't work for a town, if the town decides to do it and it doesn't work, it's not viable for whatever reason, we can also decide to get rid of it as well. It's our local option to do that. So I just wanted to mention that.
Other questions? Here in the red.
I guess it's more of a comment than a question, but I can say that I know a woman who owns a bed and breakfast in town, and from the tourist trade and the bike trail alone, her business has gone up substantially. She can barely keep up with it, and I'm wondering if part of the problem is that we don't have enough bed and breakfasts or motel or things like that that would encourage people to stay, because I know she sends everybody to the local businesses in town, and people are coming from all over the country to use some of the recreational resources in our town, and I just have to wonder if we had more opportunity for people to stay, they might.
Thank you. Other questions? Yeah, sorry, yes. Sorry.
Robin Leslie. I just was wondering when this would be instituted, if in fact it passes, and if it gets instituted very quickly, how that might go over given the road work in town and the difficulty that businesses are already having in parking. But the question is, when would this be instituted if it passes?
So that's a great question. So since the state carries the administrative burden of all this, they say they need about a 3-month lead time. So roughly beginning of July-ish, which is about the time we hope that the construction is not impacting our downtown as much. So yeah, it takes them about 3 months to get it if we voted for it. I guess just to echo Kaylee's comments, this is something that is recently available to the town of Hardwick, hasn't been available before. It's great to have this discussion. I'm not sure that anybody of us on the select board feels terribly strongly about this either way. So as Kaylee said, if it's voted in, it could always be voted out in a subsequent year. If we decide not to do it and later on there seems to be a reason to do it, we could always vote for it another year.
Other questions? Yes, right there. Sorry. That's a lot of questions.
Jennifer Dio, as one of the new owners of the snack shack that's been long waited, and hopefully someday it'll open. I am in favor of it as a new business coming into town.
Any questions? I see. Oh my gosh, sorry. Okay. Okay. Sorry, 1 at a time. Mark, then we'll do Karen, okay?
Mark Considine. So just a question of, if this is not approved, how does it affect the budget that we just voted on? Where are you cutting $50,000 from?
Yeah, so that's a great question. It doesn't actually affect the budget. So the budget that was just voted on was for $4,700,000 and something, and that remains. Where this comes into play is whether or not there's $50,000 of additional revenue to offset that total budget when we figure out what to set the property tax at.
Yeah. You've
It would be 50,000. Yeah, right. So if we approve this, then there'll be a projected revenue of about $50,000 that will be used. So the amount to be raised by property tax will be $50,000 less than it would be otherwise. It impacts your taxes, yeah, but it doesn't impact the budget.
Karen and Terry, yes.
Karen Collier. I'm glad to hear that it could be reversed if we decide down the road. But the problem I feel about that is there's already been some news articles about the fact that towns are implementing these percentages onto their taxes. So people know. When Williston did it, we all knew, and some of us chose not to go shopping in Williston because of their increased tax. So people are going to hear that Hardwick has an increase in their rooms and meals and their bar and their alcohol and their food. If we reversed it, I could almost guarantee you there wouldn't be a big splash of news that, oh, you can go back to Hardwick now, they're not charging that 1%. So people are going to assume that we're charging it, even if we're not. So I would strongly suggest a no on this vote.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay, Terry, and then down to Randy.
I just want to mention I got tipped in chocolate that time, so.
All right, Terry.
So if we got $50,000 out of this and you applied it to tax relief, how much would that impact my taxes?
Right, that's a great question.
Page 9.
The question is, if this passes, what's the impact on taxes? And I think, bear with me for just a second. So I'm just looking at page 9 where we actually have our estimated value of appropriations is $54,000, which is about, roughly the same dollar amount. And that would make increase on the taxes for a $100,000 home of, what are we at, about, it's before, would be that. So it's the difference between 70, okay, 57, 73 minus 57, which would, 16. So about $16 on a $100,000 home for every $100,000 in value.
All right, I have any other questions? I'm doing them in a list. So I see Randy, and I had Joe, and all the way at the back there. So I'll start with Randy.
Wait, you got the mics here if you want to.
Oh, sorry, okay.
It's okay, I'm waiting. Pollyanna Kubilanji, I'm a Hardwick resident. Is there a way to, just as an option, instead of doing meals and alcoholic beverages, just do the rooms? Because the rooms, it's more of a tourist option versus the restaurants and the alcoholic beverages being people who are in each town. Just as a,
So I think that's a great question. When the state lays out how the municipalities can enact this, they actually have it divided into, I think, 3 categories. So there's rooms and meals, which are together, alcohol, and sales. So if you just wanted to do rooms, you'd have to do rooms and meals.
Randy? Yes, I'm just still trying to figure out how it works. So,
Sorry, hang on. Maybe I'm incorrect. I may have misspoken. Maybe there are 2 others that go together.
Is it? Oh, yes.
So Joe Goodell, Hardwick. Elmore has a rooms only tax. Elmore has a rooms only tax, and Westmore too, I think. So it can be done.
Okay, so Tim's saying it's
Oh, yeah, 'cause it's
rooms,
split up. It
and
says
then meals
one-
and alcohol are together.
One meals and alcohol, 2 rooms pursuant, so.
Okay, sorry, I misspoke. So yes, you could do just rooms. And someone could modify this, the motion on the floor, somebody could move to modify it to just do rooms if that's what people want to do.
Great. Manny?
Yeah, I'm just still trying to figure out how it works. So you wouldn't get this money until, I mean, this would not be applied to taxes this year. This would be applied to 2026 taxes. Is that correct?
So it would not affect your taxes that are due May 10th, 2026. It would affect your taxes due,
Your
or sorry, May 10th.
2026 taxes
Yeah, May
that are
10th,
due in 2027. Thank you.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a question up top, too.
Question up top, yes, up there. The state, per the community members' comments, the state already imposed an additional 1% tax on Airbnbs, so this would also be on top of that. Are there any other questions? Yes, in the back. Yeah, you'll need a mic. Thank you.
Tyler LeBeau, Hardwick. I think the use that, I think it's a great idea. I'm going to take a page out of Larry's book and say I don't think it's a great idea yet. The $50,000 is going to be great, but we're paying ourselves to lower our future taxes. I don't feel like that's really what we need as a community right now. I think when we get done the Hook Bridge project, we're talking about Buffalo. It's going to start bringing in a little bit more business, and I don't think it's the time to do this yet until we start having more tourist traffic coming in to pay that bill versus the local Hardwick residents paying that bill.
Good point. Are there any other questions? Yes. Yes.
Ivan Menard, wondering, would this apply to the Hardwick Farmers Market, or are those not prepared, just prepared meals? And I'll follow it up with, I echo Ross Conley. I personally don't support it, but I wondered if would that affect, the produce or local farmers markets or so forth? I don't know. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, I don't, to the best of my knowledge, we don't, there's not tax collected on food sold at the farmer's market. I think these are just prepared meals in restaurants where you're eating in, I think.
Are there any other questions? Paul?
First of all, as a comment, I think certainly the food trucks at the market, they may have a flat rate, but they're paying tax. I don't know about the other people who are selling pastries and things like that. But my comment is how well we understand this $50,000. Having looked into this with other towns we cover for the Hardwick Gazette, my understanding is that if there are less than 10 outlets in a town, the state tax office will not send you full detail. So I believe there are less than 10 outlets in Hardwick serving alcohol that would be taxed. So this 50,000 number, how have you estimated the amount we're likely to receive from the alcohol tax?
So we reached out to the tax department and they pointed us to another town. They could not give us the information, but they said, look at this town. And so without answering the question, they answered the question. So that's how it was done.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
Would it be possible to have a meeting with all these affected businesses so we can discuss this before moving forward?
And can you please state your name again?
Mark Rowell.
Thank you. The comment was, could there be a meeting of affected businesses to discuss this, maybe preemptive to an upcoming tax? Select Board?
Certainly, there could be a meeting if it's voted in the affirmative now, then it would be done for the coming year. But if it's voted down or amended or what, in any case, yeah, there could be outreach to to businesses that are affected.
Are there any other questions? Yes, up in the balcony.
What percentage of savings come from actual residents of town versus folks coming in to really assess does this make sense and what is the actual economic cost of us versus individuals who are coming in?
Just to repeat that, there was a comment from the balcony asking if there was in the future any way to understand this proposed 50,000, how much was coming from locals within the community versus how much was coming from tourists and visitors. Are there any other questions? All right, I'm not missing anybody, right? Okay. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing, how do I say this? All those in favor of passing Article 6, shall the town approve a 1% local option tax on 1, meals and alcoholic beverages pursuant to 24 VSA 138B2 and 2, rooms pursuant to 24 VSA subsection 138B3, with the town's share of receipts to be used for municipal non-education expenditures as identified by the select board. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The nays have it.
You don't have to say it louder.
Sorry. Okay. The nays have it, and you have voted down Article 6. Point of, yeah, she has a comment.
Hello.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. Just want to keep everyone on time. Thank you.
Hello, Lydia Parker. I'd like to acknowledge the people who have come out to spend a lot of their time today participating in our local government. A lot of people left, which is very sad, after the paper vote. I'd like to make a motion to the town of Hardwick to modify the rules of this meeting, to choose a paper vote by requiring a majority of voters by hand or voice to support a paper vote. And my intention here is to keep us all here so we can keep having these conversations. Thank you.
There was a motion. There was a motion to amend Robert's rules for the meeting to require a majority vote to move forward with a paper vote. And there was a second. Who seconded? Can you state your name? Thank you. Just gotta ask everybody. What is your pleasure? Are there any comments or questions? Yes.
Is this legal? Can we have a motion that's binding for this meeting if it's not in the warning?
So, I am not a lawyer, and nothing I say is legal advice. However, as town moderator, I've conferred with the Ruling the Unruly guide, which says that as the body, you're welcome to amend Robert's rules, I believe, at any point during the meeting, as long as it doesn't violate Vermont state law. This does not violate Vermont state law because you're amending the procedure for the voice vote rather than being able to call a voice vote at all. Does that clarify it?
Not really.
Great. Yes. Right. The motion was to amend Robert's rules for the remainder of the meeting to require a voice vote, a majority voice vote or hand vote to require a paper ballot. So someone can still make a motion and 6 people can still second for a paper ballot, at which point the entire body would vote on whether or not they wanted to proceed with a paper ballot. Yeah, Paul.
Sorry. Paul Fix. I heard the motion to be to amend the rules of this meeting. The person making the motion did not mention Robert's rules.
Robert's rules is the rules of the meeting. We can amend the wording if you see fit. But again, I'm not a lawyer, so. Are there any other questions? Yes.
So this motion passes. every article we vote on will be paper ballot?
No.
No.
I appreciate that. Thank you for clarifying. So, this would not change paper ballots necessarily. It would just require that if members of the body wanted to vote on an article with a paper ballot, the entire body would have to, or a majority of the body would have to agree to vote via paper ballot.
Like we just did.
No. So, okay, current procedure says there's a motion and 6 seconds, and then that's the way we vote. This would amend it so that there's a motion and 6 seconds, and then a vote from the body, a majority vote, to then, in the affirmative, if we will vote on a paper ballot. Does that answer your question? Thank you. Andy, in the back.
Andrew Gilbert.
Please?
Yep, Andrew Gilbert. I'm a Hardwick resident. I was a little bummed by the paper thing too. That said, I'm a little concerned we can't do this by Vermont statute. And I'm not a lawyer either, but I'm pretty sure Vermont statute is pretty clear that if 7 people request a paper ballot, it's a paper ballot.
So the Vermont statute does allow the body to adjust laws. This is...
I'm getting contrary information from that from my buddy Claude. And so I don't know, like I'm just a little concerned because I'd rather it be legal than law.
Okay, hey. Brendan? Brent?
I'm curious, is this motion for just today's meeting or town meetings hereafter?
It is just for today's meeting. All right, I'm going to read from the Vermont Legislature, Vermont Statutes Online, Title 17, Elections, Chapter 55, Local Elections, Subchapter 2, Town Meetings and Local Elections in General, as cited as 17 VSA subsection 2658, Duties. The moderator shall be the presiding officer of municipal meetings, shall decide questions of order, and shall make public declaration of votes taken, except in elections using the Australian ballot system. When a vote is declared by him or her is immediately questioned by one voter, he or she shall divide the meeting, and if requested by 7 voters, shall cause the vote to be taken by paper ballot, unless the town has provided some other procedure in such cases. Robert's rules or some other rules of order shall govern all municipal meetings except in elections using the Australian ballot system. I'm not here to make an interpretation on that. I'm just here to tell you it as it is. From my understanding, though, unless the town has provided some other procedure in such cases, would be this, you are the town changing the procedure in this case. Yes, up there. No, up there, please.
Miles Cameron, I call for a vote on the motion.
Thank you. All right. There is a motion to call the question. Second. My brain's fried, guys. Is that a second?
No, we need a second.
Yeah. Is there a second? Please raise your hand. State your name. I saw you up there. Lori Freeland, second. All those in favor? Yes. Oh, so true. All right. We will do a hand vote if there's no objections there. All those in favor of calling the question, please signify by raising your hand. You may lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. You may lower your hands. All right, and we will go back to the question. So, all those in favor of modifying Robert's Rules of Order for the rest of this meeting to require a majority hand or voice vote after House Division is called for a paper ballot, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have modified Robert's rules. All right. We will now move on to Article 7. Shall the town contribute $25,000 to be matched by more than $700,000? Hi. Thank you. Article 7. Shall the town contribute $25,000 to be matched by more than $700,000 of other public and private funds toward the acquisition of plus or minus 329 acres of land on Buffalo Mountain to become a town forest to protect recreational access, fish and wildlife habitat, forestry, and Lamoille River water quality, and to provide outdoor educational opportunities for school children? Robin Grant motions. Is there a second? Second, Julie Grant, Hardwick. Great, thank you. Are there any comments or discussion on Article 7?
I request a few minutes to make a presentation on this.
All right, we'll start over here, and then we'll move around.
Oh. You're so close there, Jim. Please be kind. Hi, I'm Rachel Kane, and I'm with the Hardwick Conservation Commission. Oh, okay, I'll try and hold that better. I'm Rachel Kane with the Hardwick Conservation Commission. Thanks for giving me a few minutes to talk about this Article 7, this vote to propose a town forest on Buffalo Mountain. Well, I've always loved Buffalo Mountain. I think all Hardwickians do. When you come down Slap Hill, Bridgman Hill, you see a photo, you always know you're in Hardwick. It's a beautiful landscape, and for me it's a landscape that tells us that we're home. There's been many conversations in the past years wondering what would happen when the property changed hands. Would there ever be a chance to have it conserved? Well, right now we have kind of an amazing opportunity, and nearly everything is in place to make that vision a reality. Thanks to the help from the Northern Rivers Land Trust, which is a local land trust organization, and a national group called the Trust for Public Land. And they work together to find the lion's share of the funding and grants to support projects like this to get land into public ownership. So they put together a plan for the town to contribute just $25,000 on this project that is over actually $800,000. And so these two groups helped wolf it with their very successful new town forest. One good thing about Buffalo Mountain, well, there's a few things. It's a property that's not off at the edge of town. You don't have to drive 10, 15 minutes to get there and park on the side of the road. It's right in the middle of town. And there's got parking there, and it's going to be a great safe place to walk with your kids. And you could walk there from here and from the schools, and the schools see that there's some good opportunities for them for outdoor recreation and cross-country training, things like that. Other ideas we've heard of, besides recreation activities, of course there's the obvious things like hiking and biking and backcountry skiing, but there are also interesting ideas like a community woodlot. That's something we've heard about. Camping, there is a need for that in the area. A demonstration forest. We've heard from somebody that wants to have disc golf. Of course, we don't really know what disc golf is, but there's somebody in town that seems to want to expand that opportunity here. We know recreation brings visitors and money into town, especially its proximity to the Lamoille Valley Rail Trail, and those visitors do support business growth. There's a possibility for direct income from a forest like that through logging or leasing it for sugaring. There may be other opportunities that we haven't explored for direct income there. Well, who decides what would ever happen on this property? It's a combination of a steering committee that is formed of townspeople, and they gather information and ideas from the town and assess those and prioritize and decide how things would be paid for, and they present their plans to the select board. So it's always a town decision, combination of this committee with final select board approval.
And there's another positive thing in this case, that we know that when tracts of land change hands, very often existing trails are closed off, or hunting is restricted then. And in this case, with this property going into town, as a town forest, those existing trails for snowmobiles and the ATV connector will be guaranteed. And being in public ownership, it guarantees permanent public access, and that is including for hunting, unless for some reason the town decided that a safety zone would be a good idea. As far as how much it costs, the $25,000 contribution is a small percentage of the overall cost, but it's very significant for the people who are writing grants, the grantors. We have already received approval for a $100,000 grant from the Nature Conservancy, and there's some other big ones pending that are looking very positive, but they want to see that a town is willing to put something up against these, they're offering so much money. They want to know that this town wants it and appreciates it. And $25,000 is not nothing, but it does give us a permanent possession in town. And land is forever, and land is potential, and it does not lose value. It's not going to need replacing like some of our other buildings. And you compare that amount to some other items on our budget. It's just to keep that in perspective. It works out to approximately $15 per taxpayer at one time to acquire this land. The loss of property tax is about $5,000 a year to the town. Ongoing maintenance, that would really depend how much it would cost in the future to develop. Really depends on how much the town, what we decide to have happen up there. Hiking trails would cost hardly nothing, but if we decide to do a ropes course or something like that, build it out, then we'd have to look into look for grants or donations or so forth. So those ongoing expenses will be determined by us. And we do, as part of this process, receive a $25,000 grant to pay for initial management costs. Well, I do love Hardwick. I love our community. I love our land. And I do wish it wasn't so, but Vermont has changed a lot in 50 years. It's going to keep changing. And fragmentation is happening, and these big blocks of land are really valuable to us. It's valuable for wildlife for sure, but it's valuable for humans also to have access. And not everybody is inheriting farms anymore and hundreds of acres that they can call their own. It's really hard for people to acquire and to access big lands to go camping and hiking in. And so this is something that would belong to everybody, even if you don't have the resources to buy land or you didn't inherit land. So it's important for everybody in town that way. So I think about what Hardwick will be like in 50 years, and in 100 years, well, hopefully the new garage will still be standing. I think the memorial building will still be standing, but a lot of the other places are going to be gone, but that mountain is going to be there. And I like to think that people here could take their kids on a walk up the mountain, or their grandkids up the mountain, and in 30 years they can take their kids up the mountain, and in 60 years they can take their grandkids up the mountain, and up the same trails that they went when they were little. So that is a permanent and priceless possession for the town of Hardwick. So I hope that you'll join us in supporting this, and I and others here are available for your questions as we go. Thank you.
Sorry, everybody, I'm having lunch. Are there any other questions? Yes.
So Ben Patson, voter Hardwick. So I believe it was Richard Kane, she had a lot of interesting points. This idea of conserving this land, this is one of the closest, so for housing, the state has given the town of Hardwick an incentive to increase 230 houses by 2030. So this parcel of land is the closest piece of large land in the infrastructure of Hardwick with a class 4 road already re-accessed. The value of this land for the taxpayers to increase the grand list in future of the town of Hardwick is more valuable. All those points that she pointed out are, yes, valuable, but there's more value to a taxpayer to maintain this chunk of land. So there's several things. So grants are not free. Grants come from the taxpayers. They're all tied to the taxpayers somewhere. So this land, the proposed price is $530,000. Well, you've got $830,000 worth of cost. So somebody is netting $300,000 out of us as voters giving an okay to allow them to launder their money through our uses. It's not. There's more value to keep this as a developable asset than it is to protect this as forever. As a taxpayer, if you're going to live here in town of Hardwick in 50 years, you need to bring the grand list up $10 million in 50 years to have enough tax base to cover the expenses at that time.
I would just like to clarify, you are not allowed to bring up other people's names. Any questions and comments must be directed to me as the moderator. I am seeing
My
two
forgiveness.
hands. No, okay. I'm seeing two hands up here. Let's start close to me and then John.
With Jerry Street, love the event, but this property was on the market, no one wanted to buy it and develop it, so that's probably not an accurate representation, and much of this land is undevelopable. You talk about one of the great people in town, there's a great hike and a vista of town. You go into the Atkins field, you bring people to town, preserve the snowmobile trail, make sure those people are still stopping at the house of pizza. So I think just put it in layman's terms, we're only asking for 25 grand, so we have some skin in the game, and then we're getting it right back. I mean, we're getting it out for free, guys. Whether you like it or not, the town's becoming a recreational, paradise, and that's what's really bringing people here. You got a bicycle shop now, you maybe have a hostel coming in. We got to get business where we can get it, and we got to keep it. So all the kids down in the village too, they don't have a backyard. I just took 2 of them up the mountain the other day. They never liked it, and want to keep kids off their homes and out of drugs. We need to preserve places like this for kids to access. So I think it's a no-brainer, and I would really encourage everybody to go.
John.
We used to own that property, Wall Mountain, we know where the septic tank, sewer plant is, I'm going to count the other way. There's nobody that wants to see that preserved any more than me. However, I do have a couple of questions. One is real quick. That $25,000, how quick is the refund from that?
Does anyone know?
We can't hear.
Oh, sorry. The question from the balcony was, how quickly does that $25,000 grant come back to the town? Paul, would you like to answer?
Paul Silo. The $25,000 appropriated by the town today, once the property closes, which is probably, we expect it'll be the end of this year, that's when that money would come back to the town. It would set up a fund that could be used for the management beyond the closing date, essentially, when the town takes ownership.
Yeah, I've read every article that came out about this. I've been in meetings, I've been able to make it, but I have followed it. Has any long-range plan been put into place how it's going to cost us to maintain it for the next 10, 15 years? Do we have a plan for what's going to be needed for improvements as far as trails? Are we going to have to hire somebody to maintain them? Are we going to have to buy equipment to maintain that property? Has anybody thought about those things?
Paul?
take that again. So,
Oh, yeah. Was there any plan for, or any consideration for a long-term plan for the continued maintenance, any costs that might come up in maintaining this property? Is that right?
so the question of what happens with this property once the town takes ownership is, when Rachel was talking, she mentioned the steering committee. So the process is that a steering committee of Hardwick citizens gets formed sometime after this meeting. And they meet throughout the year, this year, and essentially come up with that plan you're talking about. In other words, what the uses are. And one of the considerations in those uses is what will it cost to maintain those? So in other words, if they, in the case of Wolcott actually, the Trust for Public Land helped Wolcott get a grant to actually build the trails. And when the chair of the select board in Wolcott met with the Hardwick select board, she said that they're planning on, they're buying some tools, but essentially they're relying on volunteers to sort of maintain those trails. I think that's a conversation that will be happening over the course of this year. The steering committee will make a recommendation to the select board of a management plan, and then the management plan needs to be approved by the select board before they take ownership of the property.
So we don't know what it's going to cost?
We don't at this point. I think that, but I will say that if you're interested, if anybody here is interested in being on the steering committee, they should let the Hardwick Conservation Commission know, because that will be, they will be helping the select board put together the committee.
Opie, do we know if we end up purchasing that property, how it's going to impact our liability insurance?
It depends on the uses. So,
Repeat the question, please.
There was a question on how taking over management of the property affects the town's liability insurance.
Because if you allow hunters and hikers at the same time, there's going to be some liability.
I think the liability rests in the hunters and the hikers at that point. But I think that if we put any sort of structures, tent platforms, ropes courses, then we create risk.
I don't have any more questions, but I do have just one comment.
Is it relevant to this question?
Oh, absolutely. I'm questioning the timing of this. And the reason I'm questioning the timing of this is because this town has a lot of projects going on right now. We got that municipal building that we approved, $150,000 today, and we're going to be bonded for that hopefully. We've got a $25,000 bond that goes to the library every year. We have a swinging bridge that's being put in now that we're going to end up maintaining. The town's going to have to cover insurance and maintaining on that. And then we've got those 20 buildings that are going to come off with FEMA. Maybe it's not down the road for 8 to 10 years, but they're still going to come off, and we'll have that to do with it. The question is, and this is just a thought, is the town biting off more than it can chew right now? And how much more can we stand for our taxes and what about this?
Are there any other questions? Yes, but we'll go to you first here. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, again, sorry. My husband had to leave because he was back to work, but we wanted him to let folks know that he talked to the Vermont Hut Association, and they would be willing to put a hut on the property, and that could generate $5,000, at least $5,000 a year in revenue to help defray the cost of the loss to the
Just to clarify from the community member in the audience that there was discussion about putting a hut on the property to offset some of the lost tax revenue. Are there any other questions? I unfortunately have to come to you at the end. Over here, yes.
Peter Moskowitz from Center Road. This is a point of information. Ken Davis has estimated that there is $100,000 to $150,000 worth of labor which if logged aggressively but not totally is available. If it is sustainably logged, either as an educational function or as a public good, it could generate between $7,000 and $12,000 a year over a 15-year cycle.
Another question? Yes, here in the center.
Stewie by Hardwick. One of the questions I have is, trails, everything's expensive to maintain, and how can we, as responsible voters, vote on this not knowing what it will be used for and what it will cost us down the road? I think this process has been backwards. I think the steering committee should have been formed prior to us being here today, because depending on what that steering committee decides, depends on how we all feel about it individually. And I think this is done backwards. I think we should revisit this after we know what it would be used for and what it would cost us. It's irresponsible to vote on it like this.
Any other questions up here?
Yes, Matt Reno, Hardwick resident, voter. I'm angry that my taxes are high too, don't get me wrong, everyone's are. I'm a lifelong resident of this community. My family's been here many generations. Buffalo Mountain's always been here. I come from a long line of hunters and fishermen, hikers, campers. We need land to do that on. People like me don't have access to land like some of you folks do. Good for you if you do. I'm happy for you. Most people don't. 50 years from now, many of us in this room aren't going to be here or care about this anyway. No offense. I include myself in that. But my kids will be here. Their kids will someday be here. We can't turn houses back into land. We can turn land into development down the road if we feel that's the best fit. We have a unique opportunity in time right now to make a move on this. It's going to cost us essentially nothing to preserve that land for a period of time. Maybe there's an option down the road to sell it to the state as a Vermont State Park or something like that if we find that we can't afford it. But let's find a way to preserve this land so that we can have it for generations in the future. It's not just about the people that are in this room right now. Let's keep Buffalo Mountain. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I see Dave and then you there. So we'll start with Dave. Sorry, solar and urban things.
Just real quick on the sequencing, just the, Dave Gross. I thought it was introduced. Anyways, Dave Gross, East Hardwick. On the sequencing, the property got put on the market and it was open to whoever wanted to pay for it. This group and the organizations came together to come up with this plan to allow the town to have access to and have it. So yes, ideally it would be great to have a long-term plan beforehand and then build up to it. But this was a quick response to that mountain being sold into private ownership, perhaps, probably, whoever bought it. And whoever bought it, as we all know, you own the land, you could say what happens to it. So this was an opportunity for the town to have a say. That being said, going forward, if we do not vote to proceed with this, my understanding is it goes back on the market.
Reno?
My point was I agree with...
Please wait for the microphone, I'm sorry.
I'm Reno Demers. My point is I agree that we're backwards on this. We should have had a disclosure of usage before it comes to a town vote of purchase or acceptance of ownership. And as for recreational uses, it's wide open now. It's not posted. And you know what? I don't know if anybody in here knows what the top of Buffalo Mountain looks like. Only for you many times.
All right. Are there any other questions? Nice and tall. Ross, and then over there on the end.
I'm coming. Ross?
He's right there. Just state your name even if I say it.
Ross Conway, Hardwick president. I just went up to the top of Buffalo Mountain on Saturday on a snowshoe bike. Beautiful view of the village, beautiful day. cold, but really nice. Buffalo Mountain's there, it's not going anywhere. And for clarity, to make sure this is correct, we cough up $25,000, get the mountain, that $25,000 is repaid to us at the end of the year, after the property is closed. So we get that mountain for free. And if that's correct, that's a pretty good deal. And there's nothing, there's no plan for the mountain right now. It gives us an opportunity. I mean, we can go up there now, as I did Saturday with a group of people. Nobody's stopping us from doing that. We can still do that, but we can make better trails. The mountain could be, timber could be harvested in a way to make money for the town. There's planning ahead that we would have the opportunity to do if we get that mountain. And that's a pretty good deal, it seems to me. We don't want to pass up for ourselves, children, grandchildren, whatever. It's going to bring people to town. It's going to keep that mountain as part of the town. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity. We should take advantage of it. Thank you.
In the corner, and then
Carol Schmid, East Hardwick. This is a great opportunity, but I wonder if we buy it today, or we agree to buy it, is there any reason we couldn't sell it if we fail? To me, it's a huge asset. We're buying a huge asset. Is there any other granting that would disallow us to sell it in the future?
would anyone like to answer that question? Paul? The question was, we're agreeing to buy it today. However, is there anything that doesn't allow us to sell it in the future?
Paul Silo. When the land is turned over to the town as a town forest, it will have an easement on it that will be held by the Northern Rivers Land Trust, which I'm on the board of, and very likely by the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board, which at this point is not officially a funder, but should they be a funder, they would also co-hold the easement. And the easement would restrict what could happen on the land. It also would need to remain a town forest. Yeah. Well, yeah, so the answer to the question is that it could be sold. In other words, the town is the owner, it could be sold, but the easement would go with the property. So whoever bought it, it would have the easement on it.
Are there any other questions? I'm seeing over here, Brett. Which one? Caitlin in the back. Oh, it's the back, great, sorry. Thank you, yes. We'll do this one, and then Caitlin. Sorry, we don't know your name.
Hello, I am Cecile LaRiche, and my question comes down to state versus town. And I'm just wondering, with the conversation earlier around Act 181 and Act 250, at what point, or is there a point, where the town may have to struggle with state acts? I mean, are we going to have complete control over this, or are we going to also be subjugated to the greater state boards, like the Act 250 board, the 181? So I'm just wondering, how much control do we really have over this?
Select Board? Conservation Committee? Yeah, Eric?
I'll say something really general, which is just that the town and all municipalities are subject to state law. So including Act 181 if it, yeah.
Or, yeah, we'll go to...
Hi, Caitlin Strong from East Hardwick.
I actually am in favor of it being a town forest. I kind of wish every town in Vermont had a town forest because I think things were changing really quickly. But I do agree with Ben on the, oops, I'm not supposed to say your name, on these auxiliary costs that are pretty high. And like the Trust for Public Land Staffing overhead is $140,000. That's a lot. And so is the due diligence and transaction costs. So can you guys tell us why those costs are so high? Or is that about talking to the Trust for Public Land? And I mean, this is a fantastic deal for this town. Absolutely fantastic. But why are those costs so high? And who is that? Who's getting paid those fees?
Who's paying it? Point of order, that's not part of the, well,
Can't hear you.
There was a point of order saying that that comment was not germane to the motion on the table. I as town moderator am intrigued and will say that I would like to hear the answer regardless, but I appreciate the point of order. Paul, would you like to answer?
Yeah. It's a good question. We had originally hoped to have a screen here with the budget on it and go through the budget, but that wasn't possible. So you do have a copy, you should have a copy of the budget. We were handing them out when you were coming in. So the land itself, as someone pointed out earlier, is the purchase price of the property is $530,000. But to make this possible, there is surveying costs, there's appraisal costs, ecological and environmental studies. There's a variety of costs that go into this project before it can actually close. But one of the things that was mentioned was the $140,000 for the Trust for Public Land. Hannah Redmond is here today from the Trust for Public Land, and she lives in Burlington, and so she has been staffing this project. Essentially, I'm a volunteer board member on the Northern Rivers Land Trust. We rely on a staff person that can actually do the legwork, which there's a lot of to make this happen. And this didn't just start this year. This will have been essentially probably more than 2 years of staffing work before this is done by the Trust for Public Land. And it's not just Hannah. There's staff attorneys, there's questions come up that we need to get answers to. So I know the 140 looks like a lot, but the fact is they're the only individuals that are staffing this effort, number one. But the other part is, as was pointed out earlier, that essentially the town is putting up $25,000 and getting back $25,000. The rest of the money for the $810,000 budget is coming from individual donations, grants, other public funds that could be federal or state that round out the budget. So that's the story on the costs that are built into this budget. There's really no, I should also mention there's $25,000 in the budget to support some of these projects start, in the region, say in New England, and they put staff effort into them, they don't get completed, they don't close, so there's no money to pay for those. There's $25,000 in this budget, so if this closes, it will include $25,000 to support other communities that are working to build town forests.
I'm going to let some other folks talk if you have another question. Teddy, you have your hand up.
Okay, Teddy Wanaker. I'd like to call for a vote.
There's a motion for restating the question. Is there a second? Are you seconding?
Very quick.
We are unfortunately...
I second.
Can you restate your name? Hardwick. Did you catch that? Can you restate, please?
Lucy's engine.
Can you spell that? Sorry. It's a sound. I promise.
You want me to spell it?
Yes, please.
My first name is Lucy, L-U-C-Y. My last name is Zenjan, Z-E-N-D-Z-I-A-N.
All right, and we have a second. Again, do we have a motion to return to the previous question? This requires a 2/3 majority. We're going to do this by a hand vote. All those in favor of returning to the previous question, please signify by raising your hand. Sorry. Call the vote. Yeah. That's what I said.
You said return to the previous question. Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry. That was the Robert's Rules terminology. I'm sorry. So there was a motion for calling the vote. Going back to the previous question, that was the motion to move forward. Is there any clarification on that? All right. All those in favor of going to the previous question, i.e. cutting to the vote, please signify by raising your hand. Great. Please lower your hands. All those opposed, please raise your hands. All right. The ayes have it, and we will move back to the previous question. Shall the town, Article 7. Shall the town contribute $25,000 to be matched by more than $700,000 of other public and private funds toward the acquisition of plus or minus 329 acres of land on Buffalo Mountain to become a town forest to protect recreational access, fish and wildlife habitat, forestry, the Lamoille River water quality, and to provide outdoor educational opportunities for school children? Are you ready for the question? We have a hand over here. So, there's a motion to move towards a paper ballot. As the body voted on earlier, this will still require 6 seconds, and then we will move to a majority vote. I'm going to opt for a hand vote, unless there's any objections there. Do you have 6 seconds? All right, please. All right, please state your names.
Ben Patlin.
1.
Willie.
2.
Willie McAllister.
3. Are you guys doing catching up on names? Great. You back. William Barocho. 4. 5. Who's your name? Helen Gates. 6. 6.
My name is Paper Road.
I lost track. Great. And
Ken Blair.
great.
This is for paper ballot?
This is, I'm going to repeat the question.
Thank you.
You have 6 seconds? Great. So, all those in favor of
You got 4.
I got 4? I put it on 6. Okay, sorry.
Read them off.
Please read them off.
Alright, Reno made a motion, Ben Paxton.
Can you have the microphone? I'm so sorry.
We got down, Reno first made the motion, Ben Paxton, Willie McAllister, Lenny Rojo, Tim Blair. No.
2 more? Yes?
Helen Gates.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Ashton?
And Ashton Allen. Thank you.
So that is 6 seconds. Just a quick, I'm going to read. You're all, okay. I'm going to restate the question and then call the vote, okay? Shall we vote on Article 7 with a paper ballot? Yes.
We're on the paper ballot vote now.
Yes. I was just about to say that. I'm sorry. Shall we vote on Article 7 with a paper ballot? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. Can you guys please help me count? All right, nice and tall. Thank you. Anyone in the balcony? And anyone on the right side? I cannot see you. Great. Okay.
I got 54. Eric got 52.
I got, what did I get? Okay. Please lower your hands. All those opposed to voting by paper ballot, please raise your hands. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is like, what is 2/3? I don't even know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 16, 17, 18, oh God. All right, I'm going to need to do some quick math. I believe a point of order, or I believe calling the question is a 2/3 majority, not. Oh, this is a paper ballot, which we did by majority. Never mind. All right. I know what I'm doing.
Yes, you do.
All right.
Simple majority.
The nays have it, and we will not vote by paper ballot. Are you ready for the question? You guys don't have to say that, but I appreciate it. All those in favor of passing Article 7, shall the town contribute $25,000 to be matched by more than $700,000 of other public and private funds towards the acquisition of plus and minus 329 acres of land on Buffalo Mountain to become a town forest to protect recreational access, fish and wildlife habitat, forestry, and Lamoille River quality, and to provide outdoor educational opportunities for school children. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. All right, I am going to call for a hand vote, and unfortunately, I'm not going to repeat the question. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. You can lower your hands.
Do you want to count?
Let's count them.
Do you want, yeah, justices of the peace, if you'd like to come up and help me count, I would gladly take it. Everyone keep your hands nice up. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. In the balcony. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 second. Unless it's an emergency. I'm going to say no. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I have 123.
Can I just say something?
Unfortunately, no. I got 133. Oh my God, now I'm all lost on where we are.
All those posts.
That's the next one. Okay. It's 2 o'clock. It's my bedtime. All right, you can lower your hands. Thank you. Come up, Rob, yeah.
The depth of field is really.
Nope, that's, yep. All right, all those opposed, please signify by raising your hands. Sorry, JPs. Nice and tall. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you voting? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I do math. It's still a majority, right? Yeah, so, okay. All right. You may lower your hands. The ayes have it, and you have passed the motion.
That should have been on paper ballot, something of that importance, because a lot of people are working and cannot be here.
I can give you that afterwards, after I consult with some people. I don't know what the policy is personally. If I could please have everyone remain silent even as they're exiting the building, I would appreciate that. We are still in town meeting. Thank you. There was a question from the audience? All right. 8 through, I will repeat it. And I will also, 8 through what? 25. It would be 20, do you mean 24? 24. There was a, okay. Hi everybody. In years previous, Hardwick Town Meeting has voted on the amendments as a block. There is a motion to vote as a block. If there is anyone who is interested in discussing any of these appropriations separately, please let me know.
What's the block?
So, there was a motion for voting on Articles 8 through 24. These are all appropriations. There was a motion. Andy seconds the motion. It is now open to the floor. Sorry, can I have your name? Gary Michaels? Sorry, thank you. Gary Michaels made the motion, Andy Gilbert second. Is there any discussion? Any thoughts, questions, or concerns? Yes. Oh, yes, yes, I will read it when I read the question. Thank you. Okay. All right, I will now read through all of the articles, so please listen and follow along.
We need to have a vote
I should.
whether we're moving it as a block.
She didn't do it last year.
You need to do a vote.
You got to do a vote.
Unless you do a unanimous consent. I'm hearing no objection if we can do it.
Oh,
But that
so
was the
hearing no
question.
objection? Okay. Sure.
Well, the question is voting on Articles 8 through 24 as read, right? Okay, sorry, thank you. All right, are you ready for the question? Yes. Yes, no, all good.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a yeah. I will take that. All right. I think, yeah, for the sake of clarity, we'll do a vote on whether or not to vote. The motion was to vote on 8 through 24 as a block, and then we will actually do that vote to clarify. All right. I guess I don't need to read all of the articles now then. Okay, great. All those in favor of voting on Articles 8 through 24 as a block, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
The ayes have it, and we will vote on these as a block. I will now read through Articles 8 through 24, and then I will ask you what your pleasure is. Article 8. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $3,500 for the support of a where? Article 9. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $2,600 for the support of Caledonia Home Health Care and Hospice? Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $4,000 for the support for the Center for an Agricultural Economy? Article 11. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $2,500 for the support of the Craftsbury Community Care Center? Article 12. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $5,000 for the support of Greensboro Nursing Home? Article 13. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $5,000 for the support of the Hardwick Area Food Pantry? Article 14. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $3,000 for the support of Hardwick Community Television? Article 15. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $2,800 for the support of Hardwick Downtown Partnership Incorporated? Article 16. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $3,000 for the support of the Hardwick Historical Society? Article 17. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $1,000 for the support of Justice for Dogs? Article 18. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $2,500 for the support of the Lamoille Family Center? Article 19. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $3,500 for the support of Northeast Kingdom Arts Council Incorporated? Article 20. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $4,500 for the support of the Northeast Kingdom Council on Aging? Article 24. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $3,161 for the support of Northeast Kingdom Human Services? Article 22. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $1,000 for the support of Northeast Kingdom Learning Services? Article 23. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $6,181.50 for the support of Rural Community Transportation Incorporated? And Article 24. Shall the town appropriate a sum of money not to exceed $1,500 for the support of Salvation Farms Incorporated? What is your pleasure? Okay, Paul Cielo makes a motion. Lisa Cathcart makes a second. Are there any discussion? Are you ready for the, oh, you have some discussion? Yes.
Brendan Buckley, is it ever less than this amount when it says not more than? Is it the select boards that says we're going to have $1,500 so we're giving them 12, or is it always this amount?
I love this question. I don't know. Select board? That's great.
Yeah. According to Tanya, it's always that amount. I know from talking to Casey that the organizations have to request the money after we approve it as voters. Yeah. So there's a possibility they wouldn't actually request it. I don't know if anybody forgets to.
Understood.
They get reminded.
Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing Articles 8 through 24, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed Articles 8 through 24. All right. Next on the agenda is Article 25. Shall the town hold the 2027 town meeting at the Hardwick Elementary School or the Hardwick Townhouse? As moderator, I would like to clarify that this is a poorly worded question for this kind of debate. This is an and or, not a yes or no. And so hearing no objection, I will do this one. We will vote on one, and then we will vote on the other. And I will repeat the question before, and I would also recommend we do this by hand vote. Is there a motion? Yes?
Make a motion, move to the elementary school.
Okay, so there was a motion to move town meeting to the Hardwick Elementary School. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Julie, Dira.
All right. All those in favor of moving Hardwick's town meeting to the Hardwick Elementary School, please signify by raising your hand.
Is there no discussion?
Yeah. Sorry, okay, sorry, this is over your hand. There was an opportunity for discussion, I'm sorry I did not make that clearer. Is there?
Did we get lunch?
Okay. As moderator, I have made a mistake and I am sorry about that. I would like to open it. There was a motion to move it to the elementary school. That is the discussion at hand. Is there any and there was a second. Is there any discussion from the floor? Tess Martin.
Tess Martin, East Hardwick. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of the board. I'm a member of the Hardwick Townhouse Board, but I'm also have worked at the Hardwick Elementary School office for 5 years, and I currently work for all the school districts here in OSSU. So, as a board, we wanted to thank everybody and welcome them back. My first town meeting was here at the townhouse because I'm new to Hardwick. I've only been here about 25 years. So, and we want to welcome everybody back to this space. And we do thank everybody for their patience, for their input in year one. We really hope to make improvements for next year and beyond. And we really appreciate what's going to happen, and we get the results of the survey. And why here and why now? I mean, it's a beautiful space. The acoustics are outrageously good. I really don't need a microphone. If anybody knows, when I've done helped on lots of plays here, but I'm going to honor that and use the phone. The space has come, really such a long way. The most recent renovations that were made by the hard work of the current and past board members, and it started before COVID. These grants were written and received with the hope that we'd use this space for just what we're doing: civic engagement, town events, specifically naming town meeting. The Townhouse Board recently discussed broaching a partnership with the Hardwick Historical Society to provide lunch in the space next year. Meeting this way annually in Hardwick can preserve and uplift this town-owned historic building so that it does not become it doesn't fall derelict as it once did. I know that's not important to everybody here, but I also know it is important to some here. And why do we not want it at Hardwick? As I said, I worked at Hardwick Elementary School for 5 years. School's not in session today, but if any of the Australian ballot, the Martin View, or the Hazen budget fails, the law states the revote must be the same polling address as the original vote. So then Hardwick would have to reopen to the public on a school day. Distractions are distractions. That's a minor thing, but it causes certain entrances to be vulnerable to the safety of the students and the staff. I know we don't like to think about those things, but we must. Additionally, the town of Hardwick doesn't pay the facility fee to the Mountain View School District. And the custodians and office staff work to do all that setup on a day that they are supposed to, by their union contract, have it off. They miss their own town meetings. And they have to stay late to clean the building and get it ready because school starts again the next day. And that results in overtime. Keeping it here means it can be locked up at the end when voting is done, and we can come back as volunteers and staff members and clean it up the next day. The board understands that this is a big change for Hardwick, but we urge you to open your minds, enjoy the beauty, and don't scrap this idea without giving it another year or 5. And let's face it, if we were at HES today, it would have taken a long time to get through the lights and the construction part. Too soon? Too soon?
You had me.
It was just a joke.
Yeah.
My bad, I know that.
The non-resident.
Those lights take all the guesswork out of the blinking light.
I agree 100%.
Okay. All
right. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? In the white sweater shirts. Sorry.
Cheryl Michaels. I'm standing up because I don't speak very loudly even though I have this. I love this building and I have fond memories of coming to town meeting here. And it's wonderful being here. I didn't think, when I walked in, I thought, this isn't very practical. It's so much better in the elementary school. There's room to move around, there's room for food, and I had all those thoughts in mind. And when I got here and I saw how wonderful it is for all of us to be in this space, I'm just overwhelmed by it. I'm actually emotional about it. And I wanted to share that with you. Thank you.
Ken, and then Karen.
Ken Leslie, Hardwick. I am hearing impaired, as most of you will be one or two. And I heard almost everything that was said today. And I never hear half of what's said when we're in the elementary school gym, which is a nightmare for sound. And so please keep that in mind.
Was there any other discussion? Yeah. Okay. We'll go here and then we'll move on to the balcony, I promise.
Hello, Ann Gelker's here, and I like this place, but I don't. I'm not happy with that door continually open and the cold breeze coming in half the time. My legs were totally cold. I'm not happy with the bathroom. There's not enough space for us to go. Some of them had to leave to go home. The other thing, she's talking about food. Last year, there was plenty of food. This year, nothing. And the other thing that I'm bothered with is the front of the elementary school. They had different things that you could go, like the broadband was set up. This business with the mountain, that would have been set up. So we could have picked up our things there. And there again, the voting. We had all the space in the back to vote. And then we had plenty of space for everybody. And we're crammed in here. And we didn't have any balconies in, so I could see people. And here, I'm listening to people and they're like up in the clouds. And I prefer people on the ground level. So this is why I'm not too happy being here at all. I like to go back to the school. We pay for the school, and what's going on in the school should stay in the school. This place here, good. Summer concerts, summer plays, anything from April to October would be fine. But not in March, in the middle of winter. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? Yes, up in the balcony.
I love this space too, but being up here, I observed that.
Please state your name. Sorry.
Tyler, Cherry Street. I observed that people were coming in, the seats down here were already full, and I saw that there were maybe some not so able-bodied people that had to leave, and that's really disheartening. It's not super comfortable up here, and I think it makes voting really hard. I would love for it to be here, but I think obvious concerns are maybe disenfranchising people, and also it's pretty close to being at capacity, and I worry that even if we continue to do it, we're not going to have the space. So, I mean, I may still vote for it, but I just think it should work out some
Is there any other discussion here on the floor? No, sorry, Kelly Norman. And then there's no one.
Hi there, Kelly Nauterman. I love this space. I think it looks great. Disclosure, we did get married in here, so I am biased. So in front of the castle. I think this is great. I love the new space in the voting area, how you had that set up. I felt like that was actually less distracting than how it is in the elementary school. Just because normally I can hear people moving around over there the whole time, and I really didn't hear it back there, having them go in and vote behind. So I think that was really cleverly done. I do hear that the bathrooms are a little tight, but I had no problem getting in and out. There was no line to get in there. There is a handicap bathroom in each one. I had no problem parking. We walked over, so we made sure that we didn't take up a spot for somebody that was less able-bodied. And it was kind of near capacity. It wasn't even close to near capacity, I don't think, but it was pretty packed in here. But that is the most I've ever seen anybody at town meeting in the last 10 to 15 years that I've been going to town meeting every single year. So, and it was because of contentious things that came up this year. So maybe we should keep putting contentious things on the ballot so people actually come to town meeting and then they sit through the whole thing. So let's do that some more maybe. Let's try to get something on there and make sure it's like in a later article too, please. So that we don't have to stay for the whole thing. Yeah, I think the spot is great and I really vote to do it again here. I'd like to give it another shot. And I do think if we get somebody, a runner for microphone upstairs for next year would be my one suggestion. I think that would be much more helpful for people up there. But I thought the acoustics were pretty great considering that there were a lot of people trying to speak. So that's it.
Any other question? We'll do, it's on your hand and then we'll come back down here. So.
Who's first? Sorry.
Matt and then.
Okay. Matt, I was just going to say, I don't know, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but is there maybe another alternate location that's owned by the town that's also not a school? It seems like there's pros and cons about each location being talked about right now. People have brought up some really good points about both places. So, I don't know, it's just, and nothing immediately comes to mind, but maybe someone knows something about it.
No, all right, we'll move down here to
Hardwick.
Hi, I'm Lisa Cathcart, and I love this space too. My concern was when we were doing that paper ballot, if there was a fire or an emergency, it would be a nightmare to get people out of here safely. And for a lot of people that are elderly, being in that line for, I don't know, how long did it take? Did anybody set a stopwatch? It was difficult, and some people had to leave and couldn't come back for some of the other votes. So I do love the space, but I do think either there needs to be a way to do 2 tables if there's a paper ballot somehow, like the AZ and the whatever, ADA or whatever, or do something to make it a little bit safer.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm hearing over there.
Norma Sullivan, Hardwick Risk. This is a beautiful space. I'm not disagreeing with that. For town meeting, I liked the elementary school better for many of the reasons that have already been said. But one is you could get up and move around. And Also, I missed having the screen with the budget on it. A lot of people didn't have budget, you know, their town report with them, so they couldn't follow along with the budget. I think that that's something that's really helpful. And the way it's set up here, that wasn't a possibility. Also, the lack of food.
Yeah.
We really need to have a place for information booths.
In the teal. And then there's a, and I'll go up there. And then, yes, I'll be here, promise, I'll get to you.
I'm Brenda Beaupre. I've lived in Hardwick all my life except for 6 months I lived in New York. And I don't care what anybody says, this place is not wheelchair friendly at all. I lived with a guy that's in a manual wheelchair, and there is no way in God's green earth that he could have done any of this participation with the paper ballots, because he would have had to wheel up and round. And it's not right. Hardwick Elementary School would have been a bit better, but it wouldn't have had the prettiness of this, and I get it. I've been to this building for plays and stuff. It's a wonderful building. I've never said it. And we just spent another $50,000 on this building because they went over budget on their repairs. That's great, but where's the wheelchair-friendly part?
All right, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Lauren Monahan, we call it to a vote.
There is a motion to call a vote. Thank you. And you think return to the previous question. There's a motion to call a vote. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Julie.
Thank you. All right. All those in favor of returning to the previous calling the question, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The ayes have it, and we will return to the previous question. Again, because the previous question, Article 25, is a this or that, I recommend that I will say one location. Folks will raise their hand for that location. Yes?
You've already divided it. We're voting on whether to, the motion that was, my understanding, the motion is, shall we move back to Hardwick Elementary School?
Right.
Yeah, we did that vote.
No. That's what this vote is.
No, I'm restating the question. I'm restating the question so that yes, I understand what you're saying. I am restating the question so that everyone's clear about what the next thing is we're voting for. We've moved back to Article 25. Shall the town hold the 2020, oh yeah, the motion, thank you. The motion is at the elementary school. So that is what we'll be voting on.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Great. I had half a granola bar, so please.
I ate lunch.
Opie ate lunch. Anyway. All right, are you ready for the question? Yes. All those in favor of moving the 2020 town meeting day to Hardwick Elementary School, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Nay. The nays have it. The nays appear to have it. The nays do have it, and you have voted down moving town meeting day to Hardwick Elementary.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for that vote. I just want to make a quick comment that all those comments that we heard about it not working here were taken into consideration. There was also the survey about town meeting. So again, Neckarts did a really amazing job making this building available to us today. And I think we learned a lot about how to make it even better. So I just want to mention, if we ran out of those surveys, so thank goodness for that paper vote, because it gave you time to fill out the surveys, but we still have a QR code. There's still time to give your input. It's on the town website. If you want to fill out that survey, you can also, it's on all the doors. Dave Gross is standing next to one right now. You can grab that with your phone. If you need an email copy or need another copy for about how to make town meeting even better, we want to hear your ideas.
We will now move on to Article 26. Shall the town exempt the property of the Hardwick Area Rescue Squad from taxation for a period of 5 years in accordance with Section 3840 of Title 32 VSA. What is your pleasure? Robin Grant makes a motion. Is there a second? Ken Leslie makes a second. Now it's open for discussion. Is there any discussion? Yes.
How many places in Hardwick, Ken Blair, sorry.
Ken
How many
Blair.
places is there in Hardwick? How many places is there in Hardwick that don't pay taxes in here now? And then you want to eliminate more?
I don't know the answer to that,
Aside from schools and churches, there's on this list, I think there's 1, 2, 3. No, I see 2. Yeah, 3. Which that's done every 5 years, so this isn't new. This wasn't just added this year. Every 5 years, this is on the running. So these are ones that are voted 5 years ago to exempt, and that 5 years is up, so it's on there again. Other than schools, churches, and the usual like that, I think these are the only ones. There was originally the Knights of Columbus, but that was bought, so that's off.
Is there any other discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing Article 26, shall the town exempt the property of the Hardwick Area Rescue Squad from taxation for a period of 5 years in accordance with Section 3840 of Title 32 VSA, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed Article 26. We will now move on to Article 27. Shall the town exempt the property of the Caspian Lake Lodge Masonic Temple Association Incorporated from taxation for a period of 5 years in accordance with Section 3840 of Title 32 VSA? What is your pleasure? Lisa? Motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Paul is the second. Is there any discussion?
Point of order.
Yes. From where? Hello, yes.
Laura Honigan, what is the mission, or what does this Masonic temple do?
I am not sure. Does anyone know?
Repeat the question.
The question from the audience member was asking what the organization does, like what their mission statement is.
I am personally not a member of any of the Mason things, but Jim Nudd asked me to read this for you all because he had to leave. The Caspian Lake Lodge in Hardwick, some of you may know or may not know about the Masons. They've been a fraternity dedicated to the support of each other and the community that we live in. In 1960, they had 150 members, and in 2026, they have 25 members. Anybody interested, they're really looking for people. They are a nonprofit group. Currently, and in past years, they have sponsored community events, fairs, carnivals, youth groups, scholarships, and recently contributed to the garden at Memorial Park. They currently rent the building to the Early Head Start Education Program, or Head Start, and I can tell you about that because I worked in it for 30 years, which was preschool for birth to 5-year-old children. And as it is commonly known, at the rates that cover just the building expenses, and they were great landlords, what little is left goes to community projects. The building is currently valued at $400,000. Taxes would be $10,000 to $12,000 per year. In light of this, they asked to be exempted from taxes, so possibly they could keep the building. Otherwise, they will lose it.
Is there any other discussion? Yes, over here.
What is the building currently used for now?
What is the building currently used for now? We will go back to Lisa.
Yeah, it's still being rented by the Head Start program. And their hopes are that they will be doing the birth to 3.
Sorry, can we use the microphone?
I'm sorry. The Head Start is currently keeping the building because they're looking at a way to do a full-day operation for birth to 3-year-olds, birth to toddlers. Don't quote me on that, but I know that's the hope. That's the hope. Yeah. So the Head Start is still currently renting the building for that whole purpose.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing Article 27, shall the town exempt the property of the Caspian Lake Lodge Masonic Temple Association Incorporated from taxation for a period of 5 years in accordance with Section 3840 of Title 32 VSA? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed Article 27. We will now move on to Article 28. Shall the town exempt the property of the Caledonia Grange from taxation for a period of 5 years in accordance with Section 3840 of Title 32 VSA? Robin Grant makes a motion. Walker Wright makes a second. Sorry, those are my family members. Is there any discussion? Oh, yes, sorry.
Just Marie Cloutier, or Dunbar Cloutier. Same question as before, what is the Grange?
Absolutely. Is there anyone here who can answer the question? Down in the back? Yes, yes. Sorry.
Tracy Martin.
Please, Ms. Martin.
Sorry. Okay, Coach Tracy Martin, East Hardwick, Vice President of Caledonia Grange, Vermont, number 9. So the Grange, some of you may know, was a 19th century organization. It's a social, cultural, originally somewhat political organization that supported local farms and agriculture, advocated for farmers back when the railroads were ripping them off. Oh yes, and Caledonia Grange number 9, you may not know this, is the oldest continuously operating Grange in New England. Woohoo! So anyway, we're also in a historic building that has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places individually as well as being in a district. So our organization, our little organization, is kind of trying to go back to the original vision of the Grange, supporting local agriculture and local farmers. And we do a lot of agricultural programming. Some of you may have come to our cider pressing. We also had a Second Sundays program, agricultural series. This past summer, first time. We also co-sponsored the East Harbor Children's Parade and have opened up the hall to lots and lots of other community organizations for all kinds of meetings and concerts and dances and lectures. And it is really the last community-owned kind of gathering space in East Hardwick. So anyway, happy to.
Is there any other discussion?
Secretary.
Any other?
Dave Gross, East Hardwick. I'm switched hats. I'm on the East Hardwick Neighborhood Organization Board, and as part, we participated in a study in East Hardwick Better Connections project that went and made a village plan, basically, of how to move forward, what assets we had, brought all the studies together, and then what we could do to make the village more vibrant, safe, attractive to the residents, and also attract more people to it. A key component identified in that study repeatedly in the village of East Hardwick was the importance of the Caledonia Grange number 9 as the only gathering place available, and thus be identified that as it's being used now, but thus improving that to make it even more accessible for a village gathering area. Now I'm also switching my hat because I'm on the East Hardwick Fire District number 1, the water system volunteer board. And one of the problems we always have is we have monthly meetings and finding a accessible public meeting space. We now are meeting in the Whitewater Gallery because, go figure, that is accessible even in winter. However, we know that the Grange intends to go forward with some projects to improve its accessibility, so it is accessible to the public and it'll be eligible for public meetings. If that occurs, I can say that the board has discussed, we'd be fully engaged to rent space for our monthly meeting to have it in that building. So that building is absolutely a keystone to the importance of moving forward in East Hardwick.
Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing Article 28, shall the town exempt the property of the Caledonian Grange from taxation for a period of 5 years in accordance with Section 3840 of Title 32 VSA? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed Article 28. We are now on to Article 29. Shall the town authorize the select board for a period of 1 year to enter into contracts with new industrial and commercial owners, lessees, baileys of real property, or with existing or new owners, lessees, baileys, or operators who construct, acquire, or renovate industrial and or commercial real property, including additions to existing property for the purpose of fixing and maintaining the municipal rate applicable to such real property, or for the purpose of fixing the amount of money which shall be paid as an annual municipal tax upon such real property pursuant to the provision in Title 24, VSA Section 2741. What is your pleasure? We have a motion. We have a second. Is there any discussion?
Can we get the second?
Oh, Robin Grant seconded. Is there any discussion?
Nick White's, East Hardwick, I call out a vote.
Great, no discussion. We're moving forward. I'm going to not move forward with that, but we will, because it's just another vote. We can just move forward. Sorry, thank you. All right, are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing Article 29, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed Article 29. We will now move on to Article 30. Shall the town authorize the select board for a period of 1 year to enter into contracts with operators of agricultural real property or with existing or new owners, lessees, baileys, or operators who construct, acquire, or renovate, or who intend to construct, acquire, or renovate agricultural real property for the purpose of fixing and maintaining the valuation of such real property in the grand list for the purpose of fixing and maintaining the municipal rate applicable to such real property, or for the purpose of fixing the amount in money which shall be paid as an annual municipal tax upon such real property pursuant to provisions of Title 24, VSA Section 2741. What is your pleasure? Walker Wright made a motion. Robin Grant made the second. Is there any discussion? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor of passing Article 30, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it, and you have passed Article 30. We are now on to Article 31, to transact any other non-binding business proper to be brought before said meeting. This is an opportunity for community members to make announcements, so on and so forth. There's no obligation to do anything during this time. Here.
Hi, Danny Smith. I just want to thank Audrey for stepping up and doing a great job on her first town meeting.
Yeah. In the back, please.
Hardwick resident. I'm grateful for this opportunity to have democracy in action and be relieved to thinking about democracy things not happening in other places all over. For a wonderful day here in Hardwick, for all of you and all the people who work here. This is an amazing opportunity, and let's keep it going.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there any other? Yes.
I'd like to applaud the town select board for publishing such a wonderful town report and actually mailing it to us. One of my biggest beefs with our school district currently, they don't mail us reports. They give us a little Q code on a card that they send us. Or we can call them and they can print us out a report. But this is a breath of fresh air to get this in the mail every year. And thank you very much. Keep it up. Don't try to cut a few cents off to the taxes by not giving us reports. Thank you very much.
Emily, there in the middle.
My name is Emily Langsner. I'd like to introduce the following non-binding resolution, which is, shall the voters of Hardwick adopt the following pledge and recommendation? This pledge says, we affirm our commitment to freedom, justice, and equality for the Palestinian people and for all people. We oppose all forms of racism, bigotry, discrimination, and oppression. We declare ourselves an apartheid-free community, and to that end, we pledge to join others in working to end all support to Israel's apartheid regime, settler colonialism, and military occupation. This is called the Apartheid-Free Community Pledge, and last year this was passed by 5 towns and municipalities in Vermont. It has also been passed in several municipalities in Massachusetts. It's a non-binding resolution, and just to make it a little bit more actionable, there's another clause at the end which just says that if the voters of the town ask to make this pledge, then they would ask the select board to send a letter to the state legislature and the governor saying that this pledge was passed by the town of Hardwick at their town meeting, by the voters of Hardwick at their town meeting. So I'm happy to answer any questions about the nature of the pledge. My personal feeling is that it not only addresses the horrors of the genocide that we've witnessed for several years now, but it also is a way of saying that Hardwick stands against bigotry and racism of all kinds that we're seeing in the world at this moment in time. So there's many other aspects to it. If you have questions or comments, I'm happy to do my best. That's it.
There is a motion for a non-binding resolution as stated by Emily Langsner. Is there a second? Will Fritsch seconds. It is now open for floor discussion. I see the hand over here on the left. Yeah. Yes, yeah. My left, sorry.
Karen Gates, Hardwick. I appreciate the conversation. I just feel that most of the voters that were here today for town meeting obviously are not here. And I feel that this might be better apt to be maybe something that can be on the ballot where all people can vote on that, not just the remaining people that are here. That's basically it. A lot of people have left, and I appreciate the conversation.
Will?
Appreciate the pro-democracy comments. I think there could be pro-democracy majoritarian reasons to support this, and the motion includes lots of ethical considerations, peace war considerations, but just in terms of what we've been talking about all day, our concerns over our tax dollars, if we can't afford to keep our schools open, to keep our hospitals open, if we're worried about the tax implications of building trails, then we don't have the taxes to send billions of dollars of weapons overseas. This, to me, the reason I supported this is I'm seeing lots of other towns coming together to say, that is how we all feel. We've got issues at home. We want our tax dollars to address issues at home. This is a way to take a statement locally because that's not being honored at the federal level. So I think, we've heard from everyone in this room that we're very concerned about our tax dollars being used appropriately. This feels like a really, non-binding, lightweight way to make that statement locally so it can be heard at higher levels.
Is there any other discussion? Are you ready? Yes, ready in the back.
one of the things that Randy Bledsoe Hardwick, that strikes me at this meeting and I see in our community is we have really serious divisions that we're trying to sort of reach across and heal. While I support the exactly what you said about tax dollars and the sentiments, I just worry about things that will be divisive and will make different parts of our community feel alienated. And I'm not sure, even though it's not binding, that it's really going to help our community to make this decision.
Is there any other discussion? Are you ready for the question?
Yes.
All those in favor of passing the apartheid-free police pledge resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
No.
All those opposed, please say nay.
Nay.
I'm going to call a point of division, and I'm going to actually refer to a hand vote. I'm sorry, guys. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All right, you can lower your hands. All those opposed, please signify by raising your hands. All right, you may lower your hands. The ayes have it, and you have passed the resolution. It's a non-binding resolution, yes, but it has been passed. Is there any other discussion under Article 31 for the town to consider?
Excuse me, can you, what was the vote? Can you say that?
Honestly, I am not sure if I'm allowed to, and I would want to confer with Robert's rules before I can. You can come talk to me afterwards once I confer. Same thing with the previous paper ballot and stuff like that. I want to make sure I'm doing my due diligence before I announce that. Is there any other discussion?
Move to adjourn.
There was a motion to adjourn. Do you have the names? Great. All those in favor of adjourning, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Thank you all.
Oh, I can talk now.